All right, so let's actually get started with our first contender, Bloom and Petal. All right, and I will invite the Mojo Flower team to go on board. Let me see, I'm gonna see if I can invite to speak. All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how's it going? Let me see if I can find your other folks. Let me see.
Yeah, Uli should be here.
Invite to
And
speak.
hopefully Thor is as well. Have you sent the remote?
Yeah, to Oli. Oli, do you want to? I can also send it to you, Bjorn, if you want to. But
Yeah, probably at least be good to have it.
yeah. Okay, send it to you too. And what other person do I need to move forward?
Thor was going to join us. Most of us are currently on holiday, so we're trying to patch everyone in. He's somewhere in Portugal. He might join us later, and if not, then we'll just be taking questions. So he's
Okay.
mostly going to follow along.
Sounds good. All right. Well, take it away.
Yes. Can we hear you, Oli? Okay. Are you on mute, Oli?
Bjorn, why don't you get started?
Yeah.
And then Oli, like maybe try to check your security privacy access settings. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just missing the remote still, so I'm.
It's in the DM. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, so if you can just skip to the next slide, Ole, or yeah, brilliant. So yeah, we are Mojo Flower. We're a software company founded in 2021. Some of us might know us already. And basically, our focus has been leveraging blockchain and Web3 solutions in favor of traditional businesses. Our dream has been to introduce regular users to using blockchain and helping them explore its potential without initial onboarding hurdles many of you are all familiar with. We've been excited to start work on Soroban, but this project unfortunately was delayed a little bit due to another project we needed to complete, which is called carbonregistry.com. It builds on similar principles, so there is a lot that we have learned from there that we think will benefit Bloom. Bloom is a simplified version of Calyx. If you can just skip the slide, please. And is more focused on DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization. And Petal is a document signing service, so it's possible to sign with a Stellar wallet, and we're stoked to keep moving forward. Maybe just quickly back to the team slide. We're currently a team of 5. Most of us are in Iceland, but we're spread across 5 different time zones. So yeah, and if you just go straight to the video, perhaps the next slide. Yeah, there we are. So yeah, here we see inside the home screen of Calyx. Users can easily onboard their organizations via our user-friendly onboarding flow, either by entering information manually or by fetching their company information straight from the local company registry via integrated APIs. The whole idea here, which I hope is being conveyed, is that this is a simple and intuitive experience. Behind the scenes, we're creating both accounts on Stellar for the user and an account for each organization that's being onboarded. We are therefore a custodial blockchain service where the user can access features from our platform without too many blockchain-specific concerns. Creating or tokenizing equity is equally effortless. You just need to add your shareholders, set the share quantity, and distribute them. We handle the tokenization of shares and distribute them to each shareholder's wallet. Now, after working on the platform for over 2 years and getting valuable feedback from our beta users and other stakeholders, we realized that a big problem we needed to solve was more complex ownership structures than just common shares. We needed to be able to facilitate different equity classes as well as warrant programs or stock option pools. This new layer of complexity presented some implementation pains to our current approach. And enter Soroban and its smart contract platform. Rather than an organization having an account on Stellar, we envision deploying a smart contract or a DAO representing each organization. This approach facilitates advanced capabilities in terms of issuing a diverse range of equity with conditional parameters, such as automatically vesting stock options on chain, a range of different equity classes, and so on. Our idea, therefore, with Bloom is creating a proof of concept of this approach. And instead of hiding the blockchain-specific terms, we embrace them. So in its first iteration, we like to think of Bloom as just a DAO factory for Soroban. We can then integrate Bloom into Calyx and allow the user to add other features or modules to his or her DAO. Now, as you can see on the video, we're viewing Petal. Now, when dealing with incorporating companies and managing share ledgers, there are documents involved. And we, being a Web3 company, want to facilitate document signing and tracking using blockchain, instead of legacy signing services, which we feel are lacking in many ways. Enter Petal, a Web3 document signing service, where a user can upload a document for signing, attach stakeholders, and send it out for signing, maintaining the history and provenance of the entity on chain for better transparency and validity. And yeah, since we're probably running short on time, this will be the end of our presentation. And I hope the guys are here with me if you have any questions. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Let's see. Do we have any questions on the stage? I see some folks typing.
Let me see. Yeah, so is there a legal entity in the real world attached to the DAO organization? So basically, it's up to the user. We have, in our first iteration, we were working with syncing with the company registry here in Iceland. So like you saw in the demo, you can import your company straight from the company registry, and in theory, then connect it to so the legal entity and the entity you have on the platform. And we've also been working with legal advisors here in Iceland by adjusting the articles of association and the shareholders agreement, which sets this, or how do you say, like sets this more in law. So the on-chain entity should be the legal representation of your organization. Michelle. We are integrating multiple blockchains. We've mostly been working on Stellar and now Soroban. And I mean, we have with our other project, which I mentioned beforehand, Carbon Registry, there we are working with Polygon. So it's hopefully it's just a we are a multi of the view of the blockchain being a multi-chain world. So yeah, it will later facilitate many more chains. From Plutus, I'm not familiar with Plutus, so no.
Oh yeah, no, that was me. But yeah, Tej has a question. What happens when it comes to trading the equity tokens? I think often there has to be approval from board members before shareholders can share shares on.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we like to think of, like, at least in our first iteration, we were thinking about like this being more of a better or a better ledger of your shares, so to speak, rather than the current approach, which is usually just an Excel spreadsheet and or a PDF or some legacy document. So basically, when it comes to trading the equity tokens, it's mostly up to the company itself. But we, of course, since it being on blockchain, have better provenance and history and transparency of all the trades. And also, like, if there is a bad actor or something that is happening, we of course have the capability of clawbacking tokens, and then you also have that clawback history or that transaction on chain. So it's a better ledger for all parties involved, stakeholders and legal entities and other.
Amazing. All right, it looks like we're actually on time. So thank you so much, Björn, for presenting. And well, luckily you were able to present. Oli wasn't, we make it work, right? There are some more questions in the chat. So if you want to answer them there, or also invite folks to your project channel and the project's channel, then that will be great. So yeah, thank you so much. Give it up for Mojo Flower. And yeah.
Thank you. Thank you as well.
Give it up for Mojo.
You can also skip to the last slide. There's the link to the Discord.
All right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So feel free to join here and feel free to add it in the chat. All right. Well, great. We are actually ready for our next contestant, which is Plutus. All right. Let me bring folks to the stage. Thanks again, Bjorn, for presenting. Super excited what you're building on. And I'll see if I can get folks, the right person to the stage. Let me see. Folks from Plutus, feel free to request to speak. I'm trying to find, but okay. Great. Let me try to find. Yeah. Mohandas, can you please request? Because like it takes me a while to like find you. Oh yeah, I see you. Okay, cool. All right. Well, welcome, Plutus team. Hope everything goes all right. Let me see. Yeah, Mohandas, I can't see you. Kareem, I think you have an issue with your video, but that's all good. Who is going to move the slide?
I will be actually.
Okay. Yeah, because I send it to.
Yeah, Kareem has it. He can control.
Okay. Yeah, I also send it to you. Perfect. Well, take it away, Plutus.
Cool. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Kareem, and this is Michael, and we are Plutus. And we're here to talk about the Plutus protocol. So it's a DeFi lien mechanism for real-world assets on the Stellar network. And to explain what we do in 5 minutes in detail is really not going to happen. So instead, I'll kind of illustrate it with a brief story. There we go. Meet Olivia. She's a real estate developer looking to find new ways to unlock the potential of her real estate assets. Now, Olivia understands the value of her real estate holdings, but she also recognizes the need for liquidity to fuel her future projects. So that's when she discovered the Plutus protocol. It was a game changer that allowed her to retain ownership of her valuable assets while unlocking the liquidity she needed to bring her vision to life. Through tokenization and the use of Stellar smart contracts, Olivia transformed her real estate assets into digital tokens or real-world asset tokens. These tokens represented fractional ownership, making them highly flexible and transferable. With her tokenized assets in hand, Olivia created a lien, which is a secure claim on her tokens, which acted as collateral. The lien allowed her to borrow funds from DEX platforms backed by the value of her tokenized assets. And this provided her with the capital to fund new projects, expand her portfolio, and seize opportunities without sacrificing ownership or diluting her vision. So to sum it up, the Plutus protocol is a lien mechanism for real-world assets on the Stellar network, enabling asset owners to retain ownership while accessing liquidity by leveraging their assets as collateral. Our go-to-market strategy will rely primarily and somewhat heavily on partnerships. Initially, partnering with the SDF would give us the credibility and launching pad we would need to take this to other potential partners you see on screen. And that last one, the financial institutions really being the big one, would essentially validate us in the market. Through this strategy, we would be able to determine the order of priorities for our short-term roadmap functionalities. We're looking to expand NFTs to represent various assets, we're looking at financing, and we're also looking at asset bundles and asset pools within the short term. Based on the use cases and pain points of our partners, we'll be able to put this in line of priorities. Looking to the future, we're planning to build functionalities that cover mortgages, rentals, and borrowing tokenized assets, all monitored by the lien contract. On the financial side, we can estimate roughly 50 million total value locked within the first year and a half. This would be brought on by successful POCs and partnerships with asset originators made within the first, made within the first 6 months, as well as other key partnerships. Then 200 million by the second year, and then we grow fivefold to hit 1 billion by year 3. It is important to note that the figures and timeline can only be achieved if we are able to secure the partnerships we've identified, and if our marketing efforts are as strong as we've planned. So next will be the demo, and Michael will be taking over for that.
For the short time that we've been working with Soroban, we have built the core lead mechanism. And in this demo, we're demonstrating the interaction with between the rental contract and the NFT smart contract. This process is after multiple steps of actually creating the NFT and initiating the assets. So the first thing is to list the NFT for leasing, and though managing the ownership of that NFT. And then you can end the lease. Once the NFT is listed for lease, somebody can come and lease, take out this NFT for rent, and they have to pay the fee, and that's what you're looking at this screen. And then we have another contract for rent, and that's what we're interacting with here. So we're going to see the balances and how we're paying the rent required for this specific assets. Here, here we rented out this NFT and we paid the balance. And then we're transferring, the contract transferred that balance to the original owner of the NFT. And then we end the contract and we return the ownership back to the original. It's important to know that we haven't been working on this too long, and that's just the core functionality. We were able to demonstrate that this core lean function is we're able to implement that on Soroban. All the core functionality are in place, and now we're continuing the build to build the UI and the rest of the processes for the rental. I'll take some of the as much of this question as I can. The long go bad, and that's exactly the beauty of the Soroban blockchain and why we're using this, because the ownership of the contract or of the NFT is guaranteed by the smart contract itself and its self-executing logic. And the term of the defaults are baked into the contract. It's nothing different from the normal, let's say, mortgage contract. If you default, the lender will take on the ownership.
Yeah. The next one is the Matthias, right? Do projects include risk, meaning impact of future regulations and/or bear market?
We're by no means a capital provider or or risk. We don't take the risk. We are a tool. We implement whatever agreement is between the borrower and the lender. Any risk is taken by the investors who are putting the fund, or if you're the assets owner or manager and you're providing this for rent, you put whatever terms that you want, and our only job is to ensure that these terms are implemented by a smart contract and self-executed.
Awesome.
So after default, it's exactly like a mortgage. If I am the lender, I take ownership, and that's the term that I agreed on whenever I when I agreed to this smart contract.
So I see some people typing.
So projection, completely. Yeah, no, I agree that the projection are very aspiring. If you look at any institution, they have like tens of billions of dollars. And even if you look at Stellar themselves, they have over $1 billion of assets that can be managed through a lean mechanism. We're not asking Stellar to give us everything they have, but and it's ambitious, and we're not saying like we're guaranteeing that we're going to get this projection. But from everything that we've seen before, like I worked with Northern Trust, and we've put over 500 billion assets on management on a blockchain. It's not guaranteed. It's aspirational. We're hoping to get there. We'll do our best with the collaboration of you guys and everybody else in the community.
Amazing. Well, it looks like there's a few more questions, but we are on time. So I would say like give it up for Plutus Protocol. And I'm super excited what you've worked on and what you've done so far. And I know we met like earlier as well, and kind of you talked through everything, and it was really exciting. So yeah, looking forward to seeing your progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Stellar USDC to Gcash off-ramp by Ripe. So I invite the Ripe team to join us here on stage. Chuck, I think we're missing Chuck, right? All right, invite to speak perfectly. All right, how's it going?
Things are lovely. I think I'm going to keep the video off just for bandwidth considerations, but pleased to be speaking.
All right, well, take it away.
Okay, brilliant. I don't have the remote, so I'm just going to say next slide, perhaps, when we're ready to move. Is that okay?
Sure, I did send it to you, but whatever works best. Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. Yeah, I don't see it, but okay. Yeah, I'm just going to go with utilizing you if that's okay. All right, brilliant. So we're Ripe, and what we're building with Stellar is a USDC to Gcash off-ramp, and that has some important implications. So allow me to set the stage. Next slide. Oh, one back. Brilliant. Okay, so particularly in emerging markets, what we're seeing is a number of burgeoning use cases. We're seeing more cross-border payments happening in USDC. We're seeing more earning crypto and Web3 ecosystems like GameFi, which is particularly popular here in the Philippines where we're based. And we're seeing more hold stablecoins like USDC in inflationary economies. But while all of that is taking place, local merchants, small businesses, they still accept cash and e-wallets, importantly. So like Gcash, GrabPay, Alipay. And in order to make cash from off-ramping more readily accessible for actual use, that cash needs to go to an e-wallet, not a bank. And it needs to be done with a really simple UX, much simpler than existing off-ramps. Next slide. So what we're building is an anchor around the SEP24 standard. So it'll be compatible with all standard Stellar wallets. Specifically, we plan to use Stellar's anchor platform for hosted deposits and withdrawals to ensure standards compliance. And on the other side, we're working with Gcash to integrate the payment function to deposit Philippine pesos into a user's e-wallet. Next slide. So as a reference, we're going to be using Beans as the wallet that we're initially integrating into. We had its founder as our mentor during the recent SCF startup camp. What's up, Woucher? I think I saw you in the audience. The UX for this new off-ramp will be such that it lives next to other existent ramp methods. So there's a lot of precedence for the UX. And these are just some mock UIs that have been iterated somewhat, but aren't final. And they're unique to the particular integrating partner. Next slide. So as I was alluding to a little bit before, one of the important benefits is that the money is actually going to the place where individuals can use it rather than having money hit a bank, particularly in emerging markets. For Filipinos, those transfers take a long time. People are used to kind of cashing out or using denominations just for that marginal purchase, and so people try and get the cash they need, buy the things they need, very extemporaneously, and so it needs to be able to send the money to a location that it can be used instantaneously. That's really important. Also critical is that we don't require a bank account. By sending directly to an e-wallet, we're basically enabling people off-ramp who aren't otherwise able to easily. So the Philippines is a majority unbanked country, as are most nations in Southeast Asia. So this is really important. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if ironic is the right word, but the fact that remittances are such an important use case, in these markets, and stablecoin, obviously, for transfer, really an incredible use case. It's ironic that people aren't then able to kind of withdraw to a bank account because they don't have one. And so what people have are e-wallets. It's completely mass market in the Philippines, particularly since the pandemic. Everyone uses Gcash. It's something that 90% of the adult population uses. And so also what we can offer is a much smoother UX because of actually limited KYC. Because we're only an off-ramp and not an on-ramp and aren't in the business of selling securities, we have a much lower regulatory surface area than other ramps like Ramp and MoonPay. So what we end up with is just a much easier user flow. Next slide. Cool, and to kind of draw attention to that point, this is just an example of how we can differ from one of our competitors, Ramp. Although they are another off-ramp, their user persona is very different from ours. They're dealing with sort of, bigger, investors moving much larger denominations. For us, we're thinking about small denominations, very different use case. Those that are, trying to off-ramp from stablecoin to, buy everyday goods and things like that. So not, your traditional, investors moving large sums, able to kind of, wait a few days for, cash to hit an account. And so you can see here, this is not an exaggeration. Like the user flow of Ramp is sort of back and forth and, in my experience, kind of glitchy. And so what we can offer as an alternative is just one screen, just have to enter a phone number of the recipient's e-wallet, and that's basically it. So the KYC we partially inherit from Gcash and deal with small enough denominations and not selling securities such that, just much better UX. Next slide.
We're getting on time, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So monetization, basically transaction costs, and we'll move forward. The team, Chuck has a PhD in electrical engineering from Stanford, myself an MBA from Oxford. Both of us have a lot of operating experience, myself as head of UX and Chuck in the crypto payments and compliance space. Next slide. We can gloss over our accomplishments. Next slide. Okay, brilliant. So Chuck's going to speak for just a moment as we go through the proof of intent.
Yeah, so next slide. For the proof of intent, basically we showed our ability to go to put up a live service right now that satisfies some of the integration protocol that's specified by Stellar. For those protocols, you can see it in this page. More specifically is the SEP 1, 10, and 24 that are required in order to be compliant as an anchor. And you can go to the next slide. So fortunately for us is that Stellar actually has a validator page where we can here type in the subdomain URL, which is live, and then just kind of hit the validator to get the info. And for this, we're going to test all three protocols, SEP 1, 10, and 24, and we're going to do it for USDC. So you hit run tests, it runs like 50 different tests that we sped up, and we passed all of them except one. So we're still working on that, but pretty glad that we are able to get a lot done.
Awesome. Well, we're still looking here. Are you ready for questions?
Yeah, why don't we jump to questions?
All right. So thank you so much for presenting. It was amazing. I love a great startup connection story here. That means you were able to connect and grow, and now in the SCF Awards presenting, it's really great to see, and I'm very proud myself. In any case, we have a few questions here, so let me not ramble. How are they off-ramping without a bank account, or are they just use online wallet for transactions? Asks Zeev.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing that out here in Asia and also Latin America, I think if you heard about systems like Alipay or UPI in India, those are mobile wallets where people can basically just download a wallet and have an account set up without a bank account. So basically, this is like a different way of kind of being able to receive money. We don't really have that in, for example, US or most of the West. The closest thing you will see in the US will be the Cash App. But even then, you're kind of like opening a bank account in the background. So this is kind of like a separate payment rail that's independent from bank accounts.
Awesome. Let's see. Do we have another? Matthias asks, can you foresee any blockers for user adoptions? If I remember correctly, cash was king in the Philippines.
Yeah, so I think that's another thing about like why, almost like the why not question, right? So cash was king in the Philippines. But what happened was that in the last few years during pandemic, people were avoiding cash. So I think like different parts of the world not responded to that differently. In much of the West, it's like credit card usage went up. Whereas in Philippines and also elsewhere in Asia, these mobile wallets, the adoption really went up. One thing that like they found the statistics a little bit already, but basically before the pandemic, the adoption of Gcash was about 30%, and now it's about like 80 to 90%. So like it really jumped up in the last few years.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we're on time here, but thank you so much for presenting. Like, this was amazing. Definitely looking forward to seeing your progress. And I would say give it up for the Ripe team. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are ready for our next project, which is XLR Labs. All right. Let's have the team at XLR Labs to the stage. All right, welcome, Amit and Lisa. It's nice to see you back here. It's been a while since the last startup camp.
Yeah, I know. So do I hit next slide and it will show
Yeah,
up?
it should be, yeah. Maybe other button? Yeah. Again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
all right,
Okay.
take it away.
All right. So we are XLR Labs, building institutional DeFi by combining the innovations of crypto DeFi and the safeguards of TradFi. The global asset management industry is more than $100 trillion. However, it continues to suffer from the usual TradFi ailments: high cost, low transparency, lack of composability and interoperability, and lack of broader access due to social, economic, and geographical boundaries. DeFi, on the other hand, solves most of these problems but needs the safeguards of TradFi. The lack of common TradFi safeguards has deterred institutions from interacting with DeFi. There are currently limited options to access competitive real-world yields, and we believe that the era of easy DeFi is over. At XLR Labs, we bring real-world assets such as bonds, private equity, and private debt in tokenized form to the blockchain. We are also building compliant, safe, and composable DeFi protocols for these assets. Macroeconomic conditions have led to a sharp rise in the interest rates, which is projected to continue for many years to come. The prime use case of DeFi is decentralized finance for tokenized assets. The tokenized asset class is projected to grow from nearly zero to $16 trillion by 2030, out of potentially $500 trillion of tokenizable assets worldwide. Stellar's on-ramp, off-ramp through the Anchor network, compliance framework, and its focus on solving real-world problems align well with XLR's needs and vision. We are looking to help grow the Stellar ecosystem by developing on Soroban, bringing sticky assets to Stellar, and increasing its TVL. We are TradFi players with significant crypto and DeFi experience. I am the author of the book, The Crypto Investor. I have spent about 5 years in crypto and DeFi as a founder of a crypto quant trading firm and head of trading at Abra, managing over $200 million in capital on various DeFi protocols on Ethereum and Avalanche, along with Lisa, who was Chief Risk Officer at Abra. Together, we have worked in risk and trading at various TradeFi firms. Plumen, Otito, and Tanvi have multi-year software development and blockchain development experience. We are building XLR Finance, a tokenization platform, and XRepo, which is a lending protocol for these tokens. Links to the beta version of the tokenization platform and documentation of the platform are on this slide. So the first fund that will be offered at the time of release would be a tokenized short-term US Treasuries fund. To use the tokenization platform, you go to XLR Finance website and hit invest, which takes you to the page where you can see the fund details. The platform is permissioned and follows local regulations, so you must request access. Here you provide identifying information along with your email, and the XLR Finance team will contact you to do your KYC or KYB and whitelist your wallet address. Once that is done, you can connect your wallet to the website, showing your wallet balance in USDC, which is $1 million in this case. Let's say you decide to invest 150K USDC based on current exchange rate. This shows you how much XUSD you will get. You hit invest, it takes you to your dashboard, showing your USDC and XUSD balance. Let's say you have a short-term funding need higher than your USDC balance. You need 100K USDC for short-term funding. You can use XUSD as collateral and borrow 100K USDC. To do that, you go to markets. Here you will see all borrowable assets. You choose USDC. It takes you to the USDC markets page. Here you can see information about the USDC market. You hit borrow. It tells you current USDC and XUSDC balances you have. Let's say you want to borrow 100K USDC. Takes to your dashboard. Your XUSD balance went down by the amount that is now logged as collateral for your 100K USDC loan. Your balance is higher by 100K, which you can use whichever way you want. Your LTV and borrow rates are also shown here. We have come far from SCF Bootcamp and look forward to being part of the SDF community for long term. Thank you. Now we can take questions.
Let's see. Please feel free to ask any questions for the XLR team in the chat. Let me see. Morgan, is that a question, or is that a rhetorical question? All right, let's wait for a few more questions, but definitely it's great to see like the progress you've made also like over the past few months even, and yeah, super excited. So I guess while we'll wait for people to ask questions, why Soroban and not other smart contract platforms? Have you considered others?
No, we are starting with Soroban, and it's basically because Stellar's focus on real world assets and the Stellar community, which is very strong in many of the emerging economies, and that may be our potential, client base. So we are thinking of taking essentially, let's say, the funds or investable assets from developed countries and exposing them to places where they are not currently accessible. So that's one reason why we are starting with Stellar and Soroban.
Got it. We have a question from Spintax here. How does the loan work? Does the collateral go into escrow through a smart contract?
Yes, so your collateral will be locked and it won't be rehypothecated. So that's a difference from a typical lending protocol.
Super interesting. T. Ross asks, are the tokenized bonds and the actual bonds held by XLR one-to-one, or do you relend USDC deposited?
They are one-to-one. So it's more like you are essentially investing in a mutual fund, for example. Any money that comes in gets converted into assets. Of course, we keep a small amount just for liquidity purposes, and that will be explained in the documentation that you will get when you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. Let's see if we have another question. D. Rooster asks, who's your biggest market, or maybe your biggest intended or target market, for this product?
Well, I mean, from the asset side, we right now U.S. Treasuries are very attractive yield-wise, and that's where we are starting because it's the simplest asset to tokenize. But our aim is to go up to private credit starting with US and then going to other developed countries. The client side would be, to begin with, it would be basically DAO treasuries and foundations, but ultimately we can see that it will be boundaryless. Essentially, any investor who wants exposure to high quality fixed income and credit assets should be able to tokenize, basically buy those tokens, and ultimately, use those tokens on a lending platform to take care of their short-term funding needs. So, it's not like you just have invested in a treasury fund. You can actually use those tokens to take care of your short-term funding needs, like a repo market in traditional finance. So, for example, you could be a DAO treasury which wants to supply USDC for the short term. And on the other hand, you could be an OTC desk anywhere which has tokenized their cash into treasuries earning 5+ interest rate, but they can then borrow against that USDC, which they can use for their short-term funding.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting us know and for explaining that. It's super helpful and super interesting too, and like looking forward to seeing your progress. Definitely keep us posted. There are some more questions in the chat, so definitely you can feel free to follow up there or in the project specific channel. So give it up for XLR, I would say.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, team. And we are actually ready for Perun, I hope I say it right, state channels. So, Jan, welcome to the stage. Is there anyone else from your team that is joining?
Yeah, there are a few more, but I'm the only one speaking, so I think that's fine.
Okay, well, I'll invite him anyway, just in case. But yeah, feel free to take it away.
Okay, thank you. So, let me check if the slide thing works. Yeah, so hey there, my name is Jan, and I'm here today on behalf of Polycrypt and the Perun State Channel project. So let's start right away, and let me introduce you into Perun. Perun is a blockchain agnostic channel framework and protocol. This might sound confusing at first, but it basically means that there's one single Perun channel protocol that is designed for all blockchains that have some basic smart contract support. We've been working these past few years to develop this Perun channel framework for a number of very different blockchains with very different smart contract platforms, which means that we have quite some experience in this by now. We've been integrating Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, Nervous CKB, Dfinity, and many, many more, and we are very happy to also add Stellar with Soroban to this mix. But before I go into detail on all the benefits that come with integration into an agnostic framework such as Perun, let me first give some insights on how Perun channels really work. So a channel is a means of executing transactions among a set of parties off-chain and thereby increasing scalability, as in speed and remove transaction costs, while still maintaining the security guarantees of the underlying blockchain. This means we strictly distinguish between an on-chain part on layer 1, which is the Perun smart contract, and the off-chain channel ledger on layer 2, on which parties can transact fast, cheap, and in real time. So how does it work? Well, let us assume that two parties want to open a channel together, and they do this by interacting with the Perun channel smart contract, calling the open endpoint and funding the channel. So now that the channel is open and funded, they can start to really go to town and send off-chain transactions and payments to each other, each payment redistributing the balances locked to the channel among themselves. Most notably, they do not need to interact with the blockchain at all during this phase. So we achieve great scalability in these transactions with transaction costs that are basically close to the electricity costs for running the clients and instant transaction finality. And once you're finished sending transactions and want to close the channel, one of two things may happen. Either one of the parties behaves maliciously, in this case you register the latest state with the contract and settle the channel after expiration of some time lock. But luckily, parties are not incentivized to behave maliciously by protocol design. So in the honest case, they agree on the final balance distribution and settle the channel gracefully. And once the channel has been settled, the parties can then withdraw their share of the final distribution from the contract. And all this is achieved using provably secure protocols, and we even have a concept for cross-chain channel support. But there's more to Perun than just channels that realize streaming payments. Our blockchain agnostic position really enables us to view Perun as a standard, where we can integrate all sorts of functionality and use cases. Aside from bringing Perun to more blockchains, we are currently working on using Perun for interoperability, which means realizing cross-chain channels and, for example, securely swapping assets that live on different chains. We also work on integrating channels with decentralized identity. We completed a project just this year that rolls out channels to embedded devices, enabling micropayments for IoT-based distributed systems. And we are looking into solutions for channel networks and Perun wallets. So there's really a lot of stuff to look forward to regarding Perun channels in the future. So regarding this project, so far we built a Perun channel smart contract, and we've tested the most common tracer through the contract. You may recognize the contract endpoints from the channel concept slide. In the process of designing the contract on Soroban, we had to figure out how stuff works on Soroban. There are some common questions that are always interesting when designing Perun channels for a specific smart contract platform. For example, there's encoding. Here, Soroban uses the binary format XDR, which works perfectly fine for us. Then there's storage, where Soroban provides a key value store, where we can just store channels in a simple map, and we can even control storage lifetime. And for crypto, the Soroban SDK provides signature verification and hashing, which is basically all we'll ever need. And then there's also an idiomatic way in Soroban to realize relative time locks. All this means we are pretty confident that Soroban is very suitable to host a Perun channel implementation, and we are looking forward to implement and complete just that. The contract is pretty much finished. What we still need to do is the Go backend that integrates then with our core framework using the Go SDK for Soroban. And I encourage you to have a look at our contract on GitHub. And I think, I just post a link later. Before showing the demo, I want to emphasize that we are building channel infrastructure. This means we will provide a Go SDK so that others can then use channels on Soroban in their applications. We do not, in fact, build a channel app or something alike. While we're building channel infrastructure, we still have a demo app that we usually implement once we achieve full payment channel functionality on a given chain. So this demo interactively showcases how one could use these channels to make payments and really illustrates the protocol. And as a short demo today, I've brought a mock-up of how this might look once we're finished with our Stellar implementation. So let me put it up. Play video. Okay, so we're dealing with two clients. We select Alice on the left side and Bob on the right-hand side. And you can see in the top row the on-chain balances of both Lumen and the Perun token. And then we'll use Alice to then open a channel. We'll select Bob as a peer. You can compare that it's the same address. And then both parties will initially deposit 500 Lumen and 10,000 Perun token into the channel. So let's confirm open channel. And then we'll send like the transactions for opening and funding. And then we can see this, which is basically the on-chain state of the channel. So now we'll send a payment of 100 Lumen from Bob to Alice. And you can see that Alice has now 600 Lumen and Bob has 400. So let's do something cool and send some microtransactions, mainly 100 microtransactions of 1 Lumen and 10 Perun tokens each. And once we confirm that, we can see that the balance is changing rapidly, and each of these changes is one off-chain transaction. So let's finish up with sending 200 lumens from Alice to Bob. And once we're done with that, Alice will have like 300 lumen and Bob will have 700 lumen in the channel. And then we're going to settle the channel and withdraw the funds. And you can see in the top row then this new balance distribution reflecting. Yeah, so thanks for your attention. Thank you for your attention, and I'll take some questions now.
Thanks so much, Jan, for presenting. This is very cool. I love how it also really interacts with Soroban. I thought initially it was on Stellar, but then again reading your first deliverable also on Soroban. So really cool. Morgan asks, what's the benefit of using Perun versus your own backend that then syncs back to Stellar? Once we leave the trustless world of layer 1, we have to trust your layer to sync correctly with Stellar.
Yeah, so there's no trust. So the protocol is designed in a way that there's no trust. Obviously, you'll have to trust the implementation, but this is open source. And so if you choose to use Perun channels, you can go through all the code, you can verify that it's correct and that it's secure. And once you've done that, then you can just have a plug and play interface to channels on Soroban, and it's a very similar interface that we deploy for channels on different chains. So that's one benefit.
Awesome. Spintax asks, sounds like bridge functionality?
Yeah, it's this. I talked about this cross-chain swap, and it has some bridge characteristics, but we don't actually like wrap tokens on the other side and stuff like that. It's basically just a secure and trustless way to exchange tokens on different chains. So it has like some similarities. I can't really I don't have the time to get into the detail here because it's complicated. But yeah, you swap tokens on different. It's different to a bridge, I think.
Cool. Yeah, and feel free to like answer like in more detail, like in the chat or whatnot. We have a last question. I think we have time for it. G-Chat, cool tech. How does this compare to something like Circle wallets?
So unfortunately, I don't know about Circle Wallet tech, so I can't really answer this right now. But I can look it up. So maybe you can just post this question again in our project thread thingy, and then I can answer it later.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jan, for presenting. This was really great.
sure.
I think
Thank you for
people are
having me.
really excited about the tech and about what you're building on Soroban. So definitely keep us posted about your progress. Yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. So give it up for Perun State Channels. Definitely was great. Feel free to like share your love in the chat. And then next up is Arcturus by Soniso. So super excited to also hear about our next projects here. And let me see. I'm gonna see if I can. Sonessa, do you want to accept the invite?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, perfect.
Super. Okay, so
Do you have
Yes.
the remote?
I have the remote. Yes, perfect. Everything is good, I think.
All right, feel free to move it. If it doesn't move the right way, try the other way. All right.
Yes,
Take it
also,
away.
I tried to start the video, but it doesn't. It works. The video works also. Okay. So yes, my name is Christian, and I would like to present you my project, which is called Arcturus. And Arcturus is a Stellar ChatGPT plugin. Let's see if I can slide. It's not working. No, okay. Yes, it's a user-activated extension for ChatGPT that will help ChatGPT to access Stellar and Soroban data that it could not otherwise access, such as, for example, details about Stellar accounts, payments, token offers, and many other Stellar entries, transactions, or operations, or in case of contract events, contract metadata, contract code, or contract storage data. It can also help to perform actions such as making a payment or invoking a smart contract function. And this will be done by composing and sending transactions to the Stellar network. And the highlight hereby is that the user uses natural language to do so and also receives the returned data displayed in a human readable way. The project is open source and can be found on GitHub. And before we start the demo, I would like to say a couple of words about me. So I'm also known as Soneso in the Stellar community. I'm a Stellar developer since 2017. And I'm the main developer and maintainer of the iOS, Flutter, and PHP Stellar SDKs, and also of the assembly script Soroban SDK. And now I would like to start a demo. It shows my work for the proof of intent, which will be a slimmed down presentation of this work, showing a conversation with ChatGPT that requests data about the Stellar account and payments associated with that account. So I don't know if I can start it. Can you start it, please? Here, play video. Okay, I have it. Okay, so I start my conversation by asking balances for a given Stellar account, and it shows me it requests the data by using the Arcturus Stellar plugin and shows the balances for this account. So next, I would like to know more details about the account. It requests the details and shows everything that is taken from Stellar and displays the details. So next, I'm asking for some other information available about this account. So off-chain information, this will connect with Stellar Expert directory info, and will take the data from there. And this displays that the account is connected with the altostellar.com domain, and it is an anchor and an issuer. And now next, I'm asking for the assets connected with this account. You can see it displays all the assets, and the last one is the main one. Before it said that it was associated with this domain, and now I want to have the info available for this domain. The Arcturus plugin is giving the Stellar TOML data, displays all the details associated with it, and you can even ask deeper. It has much more details, but displays just a couple of information. Then next, I'm asking for the most recent 2 payments associated with this account, and it gives me the data loaded throughout the Stellar plugin. Next, I want to switch to another network, to testnet, and asking for details about this account. So you can see it can switch networks. Here it gives me the details. Here this has different balances. This has data value. I'm asking him what this data value mean. It can decode it and shows me the value of it. I'm asking if this account issued any assets. This account did not issue any assets. Asking him if any claimable balances are associated with this account. It finds 2 claimable balances, displays the information about them. And next, I want to know the conditions to claim. Then it shows me the conditions to claim this claimable balances, and I'm asking if our account can now claim any of them. It calculates based on the data that it receives, and says that it cannot be claimed. Next, I have a pass payment. It can interpret all kinds of payments. In this case, here is a pass payment, and I'm asking him what pass echo means. It describes to me what pass payments are and what echo means in this pass, this asset, this intermediary asset. Next, I want to go back to PublicNet and ask for details about another account, which is a scam account, and the last one is a good account, our ecosystem account. And also it can work with multiplexed accounts, and here it encodes a Stellar account with a user ID and shows the result multiplexed account. So this is just a small part of it. I have a much longer conversation available on YouTube. The link is in the project in the project Discord channel, and yes, that's it from my side. Thank you for listening and for watching.
Awesome. This is amazing. I think people are very excited about the AI plugin. Definitely, Morgan says Arcturus brings up StarCraft 2 in my head. AI in the chat. Some like fun commentary. Arcturus, what's the oldest address in Stellar with at least 1 transaction per year? It's pretty cool that you're able to kind of like at least like make a really good start on like a chat GPT like plugin on this, and I think could actually be could be very useful as well. Yeah. Let me see on the questions. So T. Ross has the first question here. Since the output of ChatGPT isn't always known in advance, is there any concern it could have an unintended massive output causing a user to pay an unintended amount of fees?
I don't know. I don't think so. So when I developed this first part of the plugin, I found out that ChatGPT has a limited context window, and if there's too much information in this context window, sometimes it tries to find a solution which is unknown for him. But by reducing the information given to ChatGPT, this context, this is not happening. And for let's say later, if we want to send a transaction, like for example sending a payment, then it will need to be signed by a wallet, like with Wallet Connect, and in this wallet, the user will be able to see what the transaction is about. And I don't think that so you can always prove that the composed data and the composed transaction will be valid. Is it an answer?
Cool. Yeah, like let us know in the chat here, Ross, if that makes sense. In the meantime, let me see. We have the next question is from Spintax. I may have missed it, but is Arcturus also aware of Stellar.expert flags?
Yes, in the last it was very fast, but it showed that here on this video so it showed that an account was associated with the malicious flag, scam flag. So it can warn the user about using this account.
Awesome, very cool, says Spintax. All right, well, we're on time, and definitely Matthias says Seneso sure thrives on Stellar SDK's tooling AI. What's next? Also want to know this, so definitely follow up in the chat. And yeah, thanks again, Seneso, for presenting. And yeah, looking forward to see progress on this, and looking forward to like seeing if we can already use it in a test environment. I think people would love to play with it.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we are. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all. So you can already, if you have plugin access as a developer for ChatGPT, because the project is open source, you can already use it and play with it. So the GitHub page, the README page on GitHub has a description how to install it and to start it. So you just need access to plugin development for ChatGPT, and then you can play with it.
Awesome. That's amazing. So I definitely post the links for that, and yeah, like great work. All right. Well, next up is we have Rust Soroban client library. So I welcome, let's see, I think it's Hunter to the stage, and then hi, how you doing?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Perfect. Did you receive the remote?
Okay, yeah, I received. I just like next slide, is it working on it?
Perfect.
Okay,
it works. Take it away.
Yeah. Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Hunter, and the name of my project is Rust Soroban Client Library. So yeah, let me just like give a brief introduction of myself. Like I've been like a Rust developer for the past 2 years now. I've known Rust for many years, but like I've just like professionally developing Rust for like 2 years now, and like dabbled in various things like backend Actix frameworks, backend frameworks, then like a lot of smart contract frameworks, and also like image manipulation and all that sort of stuff. Also asynchronous like Tokyo. I've like used that, and being into blockchain since 2019, like pretty much like I've like gone into like developed in various communities like Solana, Near, and yeah, that's all. And also like I've like worked a bit on Polkadot. Yeah, so let's go ahead. So yeah, so the problem I'm solving is like just there's absence of a library or like SDK, which enables like developers to interact with Stellar and Soroban environment in Rust. So I did check some libraries, but they were not that maintained, or maybe they were like, or they didn't have Soroban interaction at all. They just had Stellar interaction in it. Yeah. So yeah, the solution contains like 3 parts, just 3 libraries, which is like the RS Stellar XDR. So which is and the Stellar base and the Soroban client. So the Stellar XDR is already built by the Stellar team. So it's like the groundwork is like already laid to create this library. So I'm just like creating the base and the client library. So the base is so the XDR Stellar XDR is just XDR representation for the interaction with the Soroban environment, and the base library is like constructs those SDR. It's just like low-level primitives support library, And then you have a Soroban client, which is a high-level library, which handles like the network communication and like provide some abstraction over like the base library. Yeah. So the next thing is, yeah. So the opportunity here is this is a missing piece for Rust developers in this community, and since like the str key library and the XDR library is built, this is just a missing piece for the Rust developers. So that's one of the things. And also I'm thinking about like WASM support, providing WASM support so that the client, the library can be used in like browser environments or maybe environments in which there is the standard library is not available. So yeah. Next. So yeah, I will play the demo. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just creating a library here, like a project, and just importing everything. So this is like published on crates.io, so you can actually directly use this. Yeah, creating like account. So the current library has like features like account handling, key pair generation, just transaction building and signing. That's all I created till now. So this is just creating the arguments for like the transaction. This is the key pair generation part. This where I generate a key pair and assign it to a variable, and here's where I build. So this is transaction builder class. So I've implemented like a builder pattern, and so it's like more of a Rust term. But yeah, so I've implemented that to actually able to do something like this. Yeah. So I'm setting the fee, adding the operation, and then I'm calling build to build the transaction. Then I'm signing it. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. Like I just printed out the signature. Yeah, that's all for, here in the demo. This is just the base, like the Soroban interactions. I have to just like add operations for that and create that in the library. So yeah, not going. Yeah. Yeah, so the competitive edge is just that I've seen Stellar libraries, SDKs, but they are just not, don't have Soroban interaction and just have Stellar, like the Stellar, I think like Stellar, just simple Stellar integrations. So, and that thing, this library provides more functionality to interact with Soroban, and people can actually use Soroban in their like client side. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for presenting. It looks like we have some questions here, and definitely Jan from Perun, who just presented, said, great work. We might actually use this for some contract tests, so keep us updated. So it seems like there are some use cases, but on that front, Morgan asks, what's the primary use case you're building this SDK for?
Yeah. So primarily where this SDK can be used is where there is speed is like a more of a priority. So let's consider like I didn't put that in the slide, but yeah, I was gonna put it. But so there are like practical use cases where where there is a trading bot or a Soroban DEX. So like it's there is a DEX built on Soroban, and we want to like make trades to it. Okay, that Soroban DEX. So, and like in this case where you are making like lot of transactions over a short period of time. So speed and efficiency, speed is mainly like the latency should be low. So if it's written in Rust, it will be like more better. And the other is more like, yeah. So other is more like maybe indexing service, like a more efficient, performant indexing service can be built in Rust. Yeah, that's one of the things.
Awesome. Yeah, the next question is, Matthias asked, seems like a more ergonomic interface and easier to use library for smart contracts.
Yeah. Just so it's just want to make it easy. Yeah, that's basically that.
Got it. Morgan asks, so this is the last question. Aren't you constrained by blockchain for speed?
Okay, I think this is more of a technical question, but yeah. I mean, if you like, let's say there's a transaction, if you submit a transaction to the network, let's say, and of course there is like network latency. I mean, I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about like the performing. I think the speed of the performance, like it will be much faster. Rust will be like than JavaScript, and it will be more like secure as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so it looks like we're on time, but there's some more questions in the chat, so definitely check those out. And also, like, if anyone has any more questions, check out their project post in the project channel on the community fund category here in the Stellar Developers Discord. But definitely check out some extra questions, and great work. I think like this can be a very useful tool, and definitely keep us posted on your progress. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just want to mention another thing. I think this WASM support thing. You can actually, so what I'm like targeting for this project is also like WASM environment. So you can actually take your React app and actually integrate it with like probably WASM as well. I mean, like in a browser environment. Yeah. So that's So that's on to end. Yeah. Cool.
Great. Well, thanks so much for presenting again. We have our next project coming up, Summer of Soroban by Easy A. So I'll invite Dom and Phil here to speak on Easy A, and you should have received the remote as well. Hi, how's it going?
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. I think Phil might be on mute, Phil. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Dom, but Phil is indeed on mute.
Oh, perfect.
But his video works, so Phil, you might
Okay.
want to check your microphone.
Let me just
I feel like it worked like yesterday.
Okay.
You know?
Video should be working. But I guess you can see Phil and you can't, well, you can see Phil, but you can't hear him, and you can see me. You can hear me, but you can't see me. So I guess I can do a little introduction. Phil, do you want to test yours?
Yeah, I can't hear you, Phil. Why don't you check out your settings? Yeah.
Hopefully that should be better.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, take it away.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. I think it's switched over to my my phone for some reason. But I just wanted to say, yeah, thank you, Anka, for hosting, and thanks also to the community for tuning in today. I know everybody's super busy, so yeah, thank you, and also yeah, thanks, Gothan, Julian, yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll hand over to Dom to kick us off with starting it off, and obviously we'll have time for questions at the end. So yeah, we'd love to hear. Or we're here to answer any questions that people have as well. So I'll head over to the next slide, and yeah, Dom, feel free to kick us off.
Cool, perfect. So EasyA is a blockchain education platform. Really think of it as a Duolingo for blockchain that we launched around 3 years ago now, really to educate and onboard the next wave of developers into Web3. So we built an app that allows anyone to learn about any blockchain through our app. And we're delighted to be working together with Stellar to launch our Summer of Soroban challenges.
Cool. Yeah, just a bit about ourselves. So Dom and I are the co-founders of EasyA. Brief background. Yeah, first got into blockchain in about 2013. Did my undergrad over at Cambridge. So over in the UK, and then Dom and I were working over in New York. Dom went to UPenn and was working in a background of traditional finance, but we saw this huge need, which was a lot of developers that we were in touch with, us included as well, wanted to build on blockchains, but had no way to actually learn about it easily. So enter EZA. On this slide, you can see that today we've grown into one of the largest developer communities, in partnering with most of the major L1s and L2s, and we're really, really thrilled to be able to bring our community onto Soroban as well. So just to put it into perspective before we come into the live demo on what it actually looks like, we're going to get them building on Soroban. And from a developer's perspective, we're going to get projects building by inspiring them in how to build, all via the EZA mobile app. So at this point, I'll go into the demo and actually just talk over what it's going to look like. So this is the EZA app in practice, and this is just a demo. It's a mixture of multiple choice questions that will test developers on, for example, how to store, how storage works on the ledger, and right down into the actual code. So we're going to have gamified challenges for developers who might be coming from other ecosystems, maybe non-Rust based ecosystems, maybe ones where there's a slightly different CLI. So we'll be walking people right through using Soroban CLI to deploy their own smart contract on FutureNet to start off with, and then obviously allowing them to take their projects to the next level. So on this screen, you can see that I've just deliberately made a mistake. And here we can actually show developers how they can actually fix, for example, certain aspects in a smart contract that might be wrong, allow them to piece everything together to see how it all works. Obviously, then allow them to get testnet tokens so that they can then actually deploy their smart contracts on-chain afterwards, and then unlock different badges as well. So that's a very brief demo. Obviously, anybody can actually check out the app on the app stores right now to see some of the other challenges that we have. But we're really, really excited to bring it to the Soroban community and also get everybody building soon. So this is going to be launching just in time for Meridian. So for anybody who is sort of excited about everything that's coming out and is looking forward to seeing why we called it the Summer of Soroban, that is it in a nutshell. And yeah, we can't wait to answer any questions that you have about it. We'll keep it sort of relatively short in terms of the demo right now. And yeah, let's go to questions right now.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much. It was short and sweet. I love it. I love seeing this also on mobile. Is it also going to be on desktop?
Great question. Yeah, so it's all on mobile. The desktop bit is when people will actually build out their projects. So just on this slide, I think we'll come on to the timeline just to leave that up here. And this is where developers will be able to actually then build out their prototypes. So the app is there to give people a very easy way to start building on Soroban and just inspire them into what it's going to do and how it can actually be useful to them. And then they will use their laptops or computers and desktops just to actually be able to build their smart contracts out more fully.
Awesome, that's so cool. Yeah, no, I love it. I love the mobile aspect too, because like a lot of times you don't see that, but it's kind of like easy on the way kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have to like make things as accessible as possible. So yeah, and Morgan also says good jobs with the actual deployment of users' contracts from the mobile app. So
thank you.
Very cool. Morgan has another question. Does the test work by checking against strings users typed out or unit tests on the actual WASM binary?
That's a great question. Yeah, so that depends on the type of code challenges that we have. For some, just a quick string check works well. But where it's actually, getting towards some of the more complicated things. So I guess this is on the previous slide. But basically, in that demo, you will have seen that there's, one is just like checking whether they got the right command in the CLI. And so, Soroban, for example, build. No, that's something that can very easily be done just with string checking, because you can't actually, nothing will be right unless you actually have the keyword build. And so that is just a simple string check. When it's actually the smart contract, yes, we're able to actually compile everything. And then, so that means that, for example, if there are multiple ways of getting to the right answer, whether that's, sort of a log if we're not running in production, or if it's actually, something like where we're printing something out or we're logging something onto the blockchain, and there can be obviously multiple ways of making a transaction, for example, or accomplishing something, then yeah, that's where we're actually going to be compiling and checking that we actually get the right result, regardless of the approach that the developer's actually taken. Great question.
Awesome. Yeah, no, definitely Morgan says I'm impressed. Great job. T. Ross has a question here. Do you have any data on where most of your users are? For example, US or abroad?
That's a great question. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of our background, we started EZA in London, in the UK, and so our community first grew out in the UK, and then over in the US. With our background over in the US as well. So growing really rapidly on the East Coast, also on West Coast, but also further afield. We have a lot of organic growth in Asia as well. But yes, primarily, in short, to answer your question, primarily US and UK.
Awesome. And do you partner with universities, or is it more like social media and word of mouth?
Yeah, great question. We really followed the approach of going to universities and then also expanding out there. So we founded EZA just over 3.5 years ago, and initially partnered with the universities. So we partnered with over 250 blockchain clubs, very close with most of the major US and UK universities, and also several in Asia as well. So, for example, over on the East Coast, we partner very closely with the Harvard Blockchain Club. To get people building on the university side. And since our founding as well, we've been able to grow EZA as people have then graduated. So, average demographic, I know sort of this is a demographics question as well. Average demographic is, somebody who's about 23 years old, who's like a software developer, maybe is also a recent grad, or somebody who's sort of, currently either doing like maybe an apprenticeship, or maybe hasn't gone to university, but is just getting into the ecosystem. And so we're here to support them and being that on-ramp for new people to get into the ecosystem. So primarily we started off in the universities, but now we have a very strong social media presence as well. In particular, you will be able to check out some of our Web 2 social media. So in addition to Twitter, also TikTok and Instagram, to distill key concepts for people and also just tap into the needs that people have to learn about these cool things, and just showing people like the practical use cases for it too.
Awesome. Well, super excited to hear about that, and super excited to see that demo and progress too, because people always like to see. Looks like in the chat people are very impressed. Great presentation, great job, amazing work. There's some extra question there, so if you don't mind answering that separately.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, so thanks again.
Thank you, and thanks everybody for those questions, and we'll be around to answer them right now. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. All right, well, it looks like we are done for, at least for this first session, but not done for the day. So there is a second session starting at 2 p.m. So make sure to tune in again. Without further ado, let's actually, this is for the next time. Let's get us into Soroban and Aquarius. All right. So I will get, I think believe it's Jason up here to the stage. All right. Hi, Jason. How you doing?
Everything working?
Yes, I can hear you. All right. Can you, yeah, you're on mute, Jason. Uh-oh. Oh, I heard.
Off mute?
Yeah, now it's good. Okay. Oh, wait. No, it's weird. So you have some technical issues. Maybe try to join, try not to showing your video and then speak. Maybe that helps. Let me see. Oh, I think he's coming up again. Even though we tested on earlier, it always possible. All right, Jason, we have you back. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? We're so close. Morgan said earlier today that we had a flawless pitches. No. Shouldn't have jinxed it. Let me see. Jason, is there anyone else from your team? Oh, Mariano says, Jason, disable the noise suppression. So maybe it's in the settings. And is there anyone else from your team that's joining? Oh, I think I can hear you now. Try again? I heard you for a minute. Why don't we, let me see. Why don't, maybe it's easier if you join on the phone. Let me see, we can try actually move forward with our next contender, if that's okay. Jason, do you want to do that? Okay, let's try to do that. Okay, then Matthias, do you want to join us? Let me see. All right, so now we'll move your slides forward. I think 9 or something.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Okay, so we're starting 5 minutes later, but I guess our first contender, our first project that's presenting will be Soroban VS Code extension. So thank you so much, Matthias, for coming on the stage, and take it away. You have the remote link, right? I just sent it to you.
Yeah, I'm just open that up. Give me 1 sec. By the way, I also had problems with the noise suppression, so that might be it on the previous speaker. So let's try this out. And again. All right, here we go. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining us to learn more about Soroban IDE, the enhanced way to build Stellar and Soroban projects. We have little time, so let's get to it. Let's talk about a very common journey. You are a developer and want to build your project on Stellar. So you learn about Stellar, then Soroban, and since you read the docs, right, you just downloaded Visual Studio Code and some of the extensions that the docs mention. You fire up Visual Studio Code, start doing a little work, and, well, as is, Visual Studio Code doesn't have all of the things you need to build a complete project. Or perhaps you're just using another IDE such as IntelliJ, or CLion, or Vim, NeoVim, or even Helix, and you just hit the same wall. So now you managed to get your code editing tools in place, but wait, you'll probably need to jump to the Stellar laboratory to create accounts, fund them, experiment with transactions, and have a great time in the wonderful and exciting world of, yes, XDR. Okay, code editing tools, check. On-chain experimenting, check. Time to jump to front-end work. For that, you also have to experiment a bit with UI JavaScript libraries and most likely some code snippets in Runkit. Okay, front-end check. So time to test deploy and do some general integration testing and fixing. That means probably using yet another tool, Postman. So done everything and all good now. But wait, couldn't you just have done all of these things using the Soroban CLI? Probably, but that isn't the most intuitive or easy way. So the question is there a better way? And the answer is yes. We are building it for you. So Soroban IDE is a Visual Studio Code extension with the clear goal of streamlining the entire project building process by having the most used features consolidated in a single place. It is free to use and will be open source. It will also support multiple UI languages, starting with English and Spanish. And I swear, Meridian happening in Madrid this year had nothing to do with that. Last but not least, choosing Visual Studio Code as our platform allows a wider reach and larger developer audience, since we can leverage the Visual Studio Code marketplace as well as the general Visual Studio Code developer community. Why not get some extension developers interested in Stellar? And while we're talking about developer community, I did want to go briefly over our tech stack since Soroban IDE is an open source project. If you are a developer, and I mean anyone, not just Web3 oriented, who is interested in TypeScript, Solid.js, developing your own Visual Studio Code extension, or even Rust, be sure to keep an eye out on our project, as we will be sharing resources and training related to this, and as well as asking for help down the road for beta testing and future testing. Let's not forget about the Rust asterisk. So now is the time to say we are not endorsed by the Rust Foundation just yet. Good, that's out of the way and in accordance with the Rust trademark policy. Anyway, 5 minutes is too short for a demo, but at least let's get a glimpse on screen about the language switching feature. By the way, we are documenting all features as well as adding video for each of them on our proof of intent document, as well as in our upcoming project page on the Stellar Discord server. More about communication and reaching out in a minute. But enough talking from me, we want to hear from all of you. Come on, remote. There we go. So we're pretty active in the Stellar Developer Discord, so that's probably the fastest way to talk to us. Give us a ping in the Soroban chat channel. We'll also be deploying our own website with all documentation, training, and tips and tricks concerning Stellar and Soroban development. Needless to say, in both English and Spanish, perhaps even more down the road, I have my site set on Portuguese too. Our Twitter is live, but not just yet active. However, feel free to say hello if you want to. We really appreciate it. That about wraps things up. We do thank you for your time and support, and we hope to talk to you in the future. I'm not sure if we have time for live questions, but I can for sure follow up on them in the chat, Anke.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let's say we started a bit late, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them now. And yeah, I mean, I love how you're selling this. So like, Julia, the God Hand is, bro, is absolutely killing it right now. Matthias really selling this, dodged the bullet there. So love the, and also like I like the multilingual support because I think that's one of the things that's often like forgotten, and that people actually like, and that is really helpful for onboarding new developers. Yeah, especially those who speak Spanish and whatnot. Oh, great. All right. Let me see. Tej asks, I just briefly heard NeoVim. Is that on the cards?
Actually, what we're saying is that if you use the Soroban ID extension, you will just need Visual Studio Code. So instead of having all of those tools, instead of jumping around from Vim to Helix, to Visual Studio Code, to CLion, because each of these editors has its own thing. So CLion is great for Rust development. Visual Studio Code is getting there, but not quite just yet. A lot of people, and I mean everyone that has the Vim, NeoVim background and preference, always says like Visual Studio Code is a joke. But having said that, having enough tooling built in a single consolidated place is the way to go for most people. So that's what we're targeting, right?
Awesome. Well, looks like folks are really excited about this. Definitely like loved it. Congrats. Can't wait to try it out. Great presentation, great job. So lots of love to the VS Code extension here. I know that people are building a lot of cool educational programs out there, but yeah, like Morgan's saying, VS Code is like the most dominant code editing platform right now. I'm even using it for my coding class, so believe it or not. All right, well, thank you so much, Matthias. This has been really helpful. I'm looking forward to see your progress.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Awesome. All right, so we're going back to our first project, Soroban and Aquarius. Hopefully no audio issues as of this time. Let's get Jason back into the room. All right, I invited you to to join me here, Jason. Let me see. Did you get it? Let me see. I'll try it again. Please accept the invitation, Jason. Okay. Should be good now. Ah! Jason's having some difficulties. Let me try to get him on board again. Sometimes, like this morning, actually, everything went very, very flawless, but today there's been some issues. Jason, there might be some issues maybe for you to speak or something, because I have been inviting you, but for some reason it doesn't work. Shall we just move on to the next project? The invitation is not coming through. So weird. Did you download it on your? Try to download it on your machine first, and then maybe maybe that works on your computer or on your phone. Yeah. All right. Maybe it's best to start with our next project while we fix some other technical difficulties. Wheels. Just jump me to the end. All right, Wheels, are you ready to present? Because maybe we just start with Wheels first. Let me push Finny to the stage.
Hey, Ank, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Very good, and you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Hopefully we can get through the things pretty quickly.
Awesome. Can you invite Tom, please?
Yes. Let me see if I can find him. Tom, if you can request to speak, that would be even easier. So I have to train my eye to spot. Oh, perfect.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Well, are you all set? Feel free to.
We are. Can you
Feel
hear
free
me?
to. Yes,
of course,
perfect.
Tom, thank you.
Feel free to take it away.
Okay, amazing. First of all, thank you everyone for your time and for being here. The community has been very supportive. And can I get the control, please?
Yeah, you should have it now, and Fini also has it.
Oh, okay, sorry. There we go. We just need to hit play.
Just the
You can
next
move
one.
one slide only. There.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. You only have the slide. That's right.
Exactly.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so thank you everyone. We are going to present to you a live proof of intent. So while I'm introducing and telling you what we're doing, on the right side of the screen, you will see in real time what the user has been doing during the prototype of this proof of intent. More than 100 million gig workers transport food, passengers, and packages all over the world. What no one tells you is that 65% of these people are renting their vehicle to work. This was the original problem that initiated our business. So our main goal is to promote the financial inclusion of these people so they can access credit and they can accomplish their dream of becoming an owner. Our whole ecosystem has a wallet, has a back office platform, and actually provides a fiat wallet for the final user. So what is our goal within the Stellar community? We want to harness the power of blockchain to keep doing what we are doing. So the first step of our project and the proof of intent is the integration of our current KYC. Right now, what you're looking at is the KYC that the users complete in order to become one of our users. And this KYC has been integrated, so at the end of the process, a Stellar address is created. Our goal is to give the users a tool to store value against inflation. We operate in countries where inflation is a huge risk, so we wanted to offer them a tool to keep promoting their financial inclusion by saving money and achieving the goals in the near and mid-term. This is the first stage of a very long project. Discovery management, initial setup, Stellar blockchain development, quality assurance, and security audit are the next steps in the process. So while I'm speaking, what you can see on the right is the user is completing all the process, especially right now, is doing identity verification. This is required in order to issue a banking account, but the same KYC at the end of the process is sent to our anchor, so a Stellar address is created automatically. The goal of our project is to not only provide an address, but build all the capabilities required for our users to buy, sell USDC. So the wallet will have full capabilities at the end of the project. Once the identity verification is completed, in a few seconds, we will be able to see the address that has been immediately created. And we are gonna verify that in the Stellar Expert platform. This was recorded a few days ago, but we will have proof of timestamp on both on the presentation, so you can verify that the address was created a few seconds after the user completed the onboarding. So what you're looking at is the home of our application, where you can see the fiat wallet on the left, and those are the data that can verify that the fiat wallet is real. And then on the right, you have the USDC wallet, where we're gonna grab the address, we're gonna copy that address, and we're gonna go to the Stellar Expert so we can verify in real time that the address was properly created. So there we see the address that we created as soon as the process was completed. And now we're gonna switch to the Stellar Expert so we can validate that address in real time. This happened on July 11th for the proof of intent submission. And you can see that the address was created around that time. That's at 12:20 UTC, and now we're gonna validate the timestamp of the video when this process was verified. The whole challenge of our project is to harness the power of blockchain. There you can see the same time the address was created 60 seconds before that. The whole challenge of our company is to harness the power of blockchain without becoming a crypto or a Web3 startup. What we believe is that blockchain has an amazing technology and power behind that we can use to further boost our value proposal for more than 100 million users all over the world. This is an amazing step for us in our path within Stellar. We have been part of the Texas payment program powered by Stellar. And then we were part of the Stellar Community Bootcamp, where we ended up in the 3rd place. So the Stellar Community Fund is an amazing opportunity for us to get into the blockchain world and keep harnessing the advantages of a very scalable technology that has the same goal that we share: promoting the financial inclusion of millions of people. So thank you very much for listening and for all the support that we have had from the community in the last few days.
Amazing. Thank you so much for presenting. This was a very well put together demo. Morgan even says the level of difficulty in pulling off this demo is nuts. And Justin here, I see some folks in the audience here from SDF as well. They agree. So super excited to see. And thank you for pulling that together and sharing that with us. Great. So please, if anyone has any questions for the Wheels team, ask them now. And in the meantime, also definitely great to hear about the SCF Startup Camp. Always excited to see alumni here. We're actually seeing a few alumni present today. So, all right. So there is a question, MoneyGram integrated. Do you have any plans to integrate with,
Yeah, that's a very good question. Right now, our pilot has been running in Argentina. And in Argentina, there's a law that does not allow anyone to access dollars. So we cannot integrate right now. We are looking forward to do it in the near future in other countries where we're creating.
Got it. Awesome. All right. Anyone have any other questions? I see like Colex here as well. Barry from Colex says great job. And Phil from EZA was presenting earlier today. Congrats.
This is amazing. This community is amazing.
That's great to hear. Yeah, because like, have you explored other blockchains before?
We did run a few meetings with the Algorand team, but after a very detailed analysis and all the work that we have been doing with several Stellar mentors during our Texas program, including you, of course, you're an amazing mentor, we decided to go for Stellar, as we think that we have more goals in common and the technology can really allows us to accomplish what we're looking for in a very costly manner for our final users.
Awesome. Yeah, no, definitely very excited to meet in person as well and to seeing you grow. Finally, we got through the SCF project pitches and the awards, so really excited to see your progress. There's people like, there's definitely people like typing here. So I guess like we will be continuing to our next project, but definitely if there's any questions coming up here, feel free to ask. And also anyone, if you want to ask any questions for Wheels, check out their project posts in the project channel. So yeah, thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you for the
And
opportunity.
of course, you, Ank. You're doing an amazing job. You know, Gord. Bye.
Well, only to support you amazing people. So doing my best. Thank you. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Let me see. We are ready for Slender. All right. Slender team, come to the stage. Let me see if I can find you, and feel free to request to speak. All right. Hi, Peter. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Is there anyone else from your team presenting that I should bring to the stage?
I'm gonna be alone today because I'm in Europe. It's kind of late today here already. But yeah, there are actually people who are listening to me from our team, as far as I can tell. So hello, guys. Yeah, a little bit of introduction. So we are a blockchain developing house called Eqlab. We've been in a space for 5 years or so, and we're all DeFi related. We really love DeFi, and we have come to the ecosystem because we also love Rust. And as a matter of fact, we hold a parachain in Polkadot, which is also, you know, the substrate. It's a Rust-based framework. And so we really loved what we saw with Soroban, with Stellar, and we would like to create a DeFi primitive, which is pretty much P2P money market here in Stellar. Let me change the slide and see. So the motivation is simple. Any developing ecosystem, Web3 ecosystem, it needs a money market as a main DeFi primitive to actually become a vibrant ecosystem, because it offers a lot of use cases. And the primary use case, especially in case with Stellar and Soroban, is that you can self-service your loans pretty much, and with all of the anchors and off-ramps, you can actually make those loans eventually go to fiat. And that means you don't have to sell your crypto. You're obliged to pay taxes because you don't have a taxable event, and this offers a lot of different benefits. And also the lending protocol, it offers I would say a lubricant for a DeFi ecosystem, because it easily integrates and connects with other DeFi stuff like AMMs and different DEXs, and it can offer leverage for those. And so yeah, in conjunction with all other stuff, it's a really good thing to build actually. So our progress so far, well, before I talk about our progress, yes, the key features. So we have developed a tech specification for the protocol. We are participating in the 16th round of the SCF. So we've been heavily involved with the building of the protocol starting July. So not that much, but still we have a lot of cool features. So passive income for lenders. We will also support portfolios for borrowers. That means borrowers can use not single position collateral, but rather they can use crypto portfolios. And when we get into correlation and stuff like that, it gets really interesting here, because you can reduce the risk of your position significantly. Also, the way we designed the system, we will support LP tokens both for the debt and for the collateral. We have pretty comprehensive risk management, and I'll share the link to the tech specification where you can check out our models and how we handle risks within the system, and it gets really interesting there. Also, the entire solvency management system right now, it's pretty straightforward. And then later on, we're really looking into the buzz in the DeFi right now, which is called no liquidations. So we're going to be working on that one. And we have experience in that in our product in Polkadot, for example, where we have this system of insurers who bring liquidity into the system in advance. And so when liquidations need to happen, there's always liquidity present at hand, and you don't need to sell into the distressed market. Also, we're doing the SEP40 support for the oracles, and also the standard token interface support for the future ease of integration with other projects within the ecosystem. Further, next slide. Yeah, about our projects progress. So far, we've got accepted to the SCF program. We've delivered our first milestone, and you will see that shortly in the video. Don't be too harsh on us. It's really technical stuff, so you'll see a console with a whole bunch of stuff happening there, but it's really short, so shouldn't be that difficult. Yeah, we've compiled the detailed protocol spec, and I encourage you to go ahead and visit the links or scan the QR code and comment, ask questions, suggest stuff. We are really open to what's happening and want to make this amazing protocol happen together. Currently, we're working on other milestones, and pretty much relates to the borrowing logic, the interest rate logic, the liquidation logic, and also we're covering everything with test cases and integration tests will follow along. We aim to do the entire solution, including the fully functional UI, by the end of September, and as you can see, we already done some work on our UI and the visuals, and hoping to make it even greater. Yeah, so slide is actually the video. Yeah, go ahead. So pretty much what you see here is a console, and it's a demo of our first milestone. So the first milestone included token smart contracts. So currently you can see that we're building and deploying the contracts, and starting approximately from 50th second, you will see some stuff happening. That means we'll create a user. We will check his balances before he does any actions with the pool, and we will deposit some tokens to the pool, and user will get S tokens. That's how we call LP tokens, which he gets for his collateral in return. And then he will burn back some of those S tokens to retrieve his collateral from the pool. And you should see that happening on the video as well. And you will see all of the balances being printed out to the console. Yeah, so as you can see, user have sent action of his tokens to the pool. We print out the balance, now withdraws some of the tokens, his balance increases, his LP token balance decreases. So that was pretty much our first milestone, and as I already told you, currently we are working on our next milestones, all of the logic and debt repayment, time accrual of interest rates, basic liquidation logic, implementation of the borrow method. Also, we have supported the fixed point arithmetic. So yeah, a lot of stuff is currently going on. So that's it. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was really insightful too, and very excited for your progress as well. Very fast too. So T. Ross actually has a question here. How does Slender determine which assets can be lent or borrowed? Is there a whitelist?
Well, eventually we want to do it fully in a fully permissionless manner, and we have come up with due diligence process we apply to every asset, where we analyze its historical volatility in context, and then historical liquidity to assess the risk level of the asset. And eventually we want to offload this for the DAO, I would say, or a risk committee who would actually decide which assets to onboard as collateral and which not to, because obviously, yeah, you have risks in onboarding something very liquid as a collateral or something that barely trades anywhere as a collateral. So you have to be careful with that. But initially, at least what we are playing right now with, we are supporting USDC, then the Lumen tokens, and also the XRP, the Ripple tokens. So 3 assets. Yeah.
Awesome, super cool. Last question, maybe I missed it. Will Slender have a UI or is it just tooling?
We are planning to develop the UI, and actually this is one of our milestones in our application. And visuals you have seen here, they will go into UI as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Phil says a very well thought out project. Super excited. Definitely one of the first movers here building DeFi on Soroban. So super excited to see your progress and keep us posted. Yeah, and if anyone has any more questions for Slender, definitely ask here or ask in their project post.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great. Well, thanks so much for presenting. And we go now back to the first project, Soroban and Aquarius. So, Jason,
Can you hear me this time?
Amazing. You are all set. Yes.
Perfect. Right, so hi everyone, I am Jason, I am the CMO of Aquarius, and I'm here to talk to you today about Aquarius AMMs built on top of Soroban. So for those of you that don't know anything about Aquarius, we've been building on Stellar for about 2 years now, and we are designed to incentivize market making and liquidity provision on Stellar. Our main aims are to attract large volumes of liquidity to the network, then concentrate that liquidity to essential markets as decided by our community and Aqua tokens, and then that enables for larger asset exchanges. So how do we solve the liquidity issue on Stellar? We do it by distributing monetary incentives in the form of Aqua rewards every hour to Stellar DEX market makers and AMM liquidity providers. Aqua is our utility token for Aquarius, and it powers the entire ecosystem. It's used for voting mechanisms. Currently, we have governance, where the community decides on protocol changes for the network itself, and then also we have liquidity voting, where the markets that are going to be incentivized are decided. And finally, the Aqua reward is the incentive that market makers and liquidity providers end up receiving. So for our submission, we've decided to concentrate on AMMs. So we've had 18 months of liquidity rewards on Stellar native AMMs. So we're pretty well versed in using and distributing rewards to AMM providers. So as part of our first deliverable, we decided to build Uniswap V2 style smart contracts, and we also have a demo which I should be able to play for you now. So this is our Aqua.network website, and what we've done is we've stripped everything away and we are left with AMM and swap for this demo. So inside this demo, you can view your balances currently on FutureNet. So we can see we have 10,000 XLM on there so far, but we need extra tokens. So we'll get some test tokens, and that will allow us to try out the AMMs. So you can see those assets have gone to our balances, but we'll go across to a FutureNet Explorer, and this will allow us to double check that everything is working on FutureNet as intended. And we can see all our tokens are there. And now we have those tokens, we can choose 2 assets that we'd like to either create a liquidity pool with or deposit more assets into. Currently A and B is selected, but we already have assets there, so we'll select a different token. And this pool will be empty at the moment. And now we can demonstrate by depositing. This will allow us to not only create a pool, but also deposit the liquidity at the same time. So we'll deposit 1,000 of each. And it's been successful. And what we'll do is we'll go across to the Explorer again and go to operations. And we'll see both of those contracts have worked as intended, and a pool has been created on FutureNet, and we can also see that assets have been deposited. Now in this iteration, we've got withdraw all, so 100% of assets will come out of the liquidity pool, but in future, we will be allowing users to select exactly how much to withdraw from the pool. And we can see again, it's worked exactly how we want to. And on the Explorer, it will also confirm that the smart contract has worked. And we now have all those assets back inside of our wallet. So to complement the AMM, we have swap functionality. So as with any AMM, the whole point is to swap one asset to another. And on screen now, you'll be able to see we've got a swap interface with both A and B tokens selected. And all we need to do is decide how many B tokens we would like to receive. And in this case, we are going to type 100. And then the interface will show us that we need 198 A tokens to get those B tokens. And as simple as accepting it by pressing swap asset. And on FutureNet, we will have those assets swapped, and we will now have 100 extra B tokens inside of our wallet. And again, we can check all this on FutureNet live at any time. And you can also view this yourself by going to our SCP channel, and we will put the demo in there. And you can see we have 100 extra B tokens now, and the less A tokens. And that's it for the demo. So up next for AMMs, we're going to be doing Soroban AMM Aqua Rewards. So this will be taking our existing distribution system from Stellar for rewarding SDEX and AMMs and bringing it across to Soroban. So this will include building contracts that track and aggregate Aquarius AMM data, then storing that data so we have the ability to set which markets are going to be rewarded and with how much Aqua, and then obviously calculating and distributing those rewards. Up next is education. So obviously we're building all this. We'd like to educate projects that utilize Aquarius. We have a fair few that like using us at the moment to incentivize their assets. So we'd like to help them integrate further into Soroban. And then obviously additional materials to ensure our users interact with Soroban and our AMM safely. And finally, advanced research on AMMs, and this will allow us to pull other models from other networks, experiment with them, and hopefully create equivalents such as stable swaps, multi-assets, and concentrated liquidity pools. And this will bring a whole suite of AMMs all in one place for Stellar users to take advantage of. And that's everything from the pitch. So thank you very much for listening. If you got any questions, please drop them into the box.
Amazing. That was a great pitch that definitely made up for all the technical issues.
Oh, I'm so glad that we managed to get there. That took so many devices.
Yeah, well, you're all set now. Well, thank you so much for presenting. Let's see. Make sure to ask some questions in the chat. And we have one question here. Is the new Aqua page going to be the primary UI for Aqua instead of Stellar X?
Obviously Stellar X I think is one of the main 4 Stellar native AMMs, but we'll be putting all of our AMM stuff into Aqua Network. But if other interfaces want to integrate Aquarius AMMs into them, that would be fantastic. And obviously it will help put everyone into one place and they can use the AMMs as and when they wish.
Awesome. It looks like people are spreading a lot of love here.
Thank you.
And yeah, smooth though. You can breathe now, Jason. That was the wait was worth it. Congrats, Jason. Well done. Great presentation. So people are really liking it. Matthias asked not really a question, but in general, I wonder what's your take on MEV.
MEV is probably a bit too technical for me, so I'll be able to get our developers to answer that on there later on if you would like that one answered.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, well, it looks like people are really spreading some love here, so love that. So thank you so much, Jason, for presenting Aqua and definitely Aquarius. And then we would love to see your progress on this. And also, I think you're joining Meridian, right?
Indeed, looking forward to presenting. Hopefully we've got everything running, all the deliverables by then, so we'll be able to present that Meridian, and fingers crossed, not long after it will be mainnet. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much again. And so right now we're going to skip a few slides because we already seen those presentations to, oh, that was a bit too far. Let me see. To the Stellar prepaid cards by Anclap. So let's get Ivan to the stage. And Ivan is let me see, he's coming, I think. Let me see, is he coming? Ivan, I have accepted it. Oh, hopefully not the same issue. It worked like 2 days ago. Mariano, are you able to speak instead? Okay. Ah! Are we not able to move forward? This is a problem. All right, maybe like Ivan, you have the same issue as Jason had, but somehow it's not working. I'm not sure why. Let me see. Why don't we actually start with the Ultra? Was able to join. I see no speakers. Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah. Well, Ivan, why don't you? Maybe it's like the settings, or maybe it's like trying to maybe the same issue Jason had. Jason is typing, so maybe y'all can help each other, and we can move on to our next project, Ultra Stellar. Let me see, Ultra Stellar folks. Do we have you in the stage? Let me see. Let me see. Maybe Jason, do you know who from Ultra Stellar is joining here? Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I forgot the okay, perfect. No, true. I think we have a different team. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Great. So, hi everyone again. My name is Mike. I'm part of the Ultra Stellar team. For those of you who are not aware of what Ultra Stellar does, we are a long-time participant in the Stellar ecosystem. We were one of the first teams actually who started building on top of the Stellar network in 2014. We have a few projects we are developing on top of the Stellar network. Let me give you a brief overview about each one and what we are planning to do with Soroban. Let me see. So the first one is our most popular product, the Lobster wallet. Lobster wallet was one of the first non-custodial wallet apps built on top of the Stellar network, and now is one of the most popular and trusted wallets available on the network. So it is available as a mobile web app where users can send, swap their assets, track prices on off ramps, thanks to our partner integrations with MoneyGram, MoonPay, and a wide array of SEP24 anchors we integrated. We also have Wallet Connect functionality that allows our users to connect their wallets to any decentralized apps available on Stellar. So that's Lobster, our main product. The second one we are looking to expand with Soroban support is Stellar X. Stellar based trading platform built on top of the Stellar network. It was actually one of the first products to introduce the Stellar AMM support in 2021. So these are the two products we are actually developing and looking to bring Soroban support to. So the majority of smart contract updates will be introduced for Lobster, allowing us to promote Soroban to our 1 million plus users, which we officially achieved this year. Our goal is to make all of these interactions with Soroban as accessible and user-friendly as possible. So let's talk about the smart contract updates we are planning to introduce to our products. The two improvements we added so far to Lobster Wallet as a part of our proof of intent demo are the ability to view Soroban tokens in the assets list in the Lobster Wallet, and the ability to sign transactions interacting with Soroban smart contracts to the wallet interface. So let's go over our video demo, which is the next slide, to see how it looks and works. Yeah, so in this demo, we have a FutureNet Stellar wallet connected to Lobster account. The first improvement to Lobster is the ability to see the balance of Soroban tokens. So this wallet has a few tokens, and those that have the Stellar asset contract deployed actually have the Soroban icons attached to them. How this works is we determine that the Stellar asset contract was deployed on the backend, and we update this info in real time. So every user who has these assets on their wallet can see this info in real time. We are exploring the ability to view custom Soroban tokens, which will be likely added in the future. So the second functionality we added in the demo is the ability to sign transactions interacting with Soroban smart contracts. We created a new Soroban section in the settings that allows you to sign and submit transactions they create outside of the app. As we move forward, we will explore other options to make this section a more prominent part of the app. So how does this work? First, the user should create a transaction XDR outside of Lobster with Soroban smart contract code included. This can be a transaction that deploys a smart contract or a transaction that invokes a smart contract method. So, for example, a transfer method. When a user pushes the sign and submit button, we simulate the transaction, sign and submit it to Soroban RPC server. When submitted, users can look up the hash of the transaction status to see its status on the Soroban network. So right now we are doing a quick demo of how this works. So in this demo, we pass the transaction XDR. This transaction actually invokes the transfer method of the token interface and sends 50 SND1 tokens to another wallet on the Soroban network. As you can see in the demo, this transaction was submitted successfully, and a user can copy the transaction XDR as a transaction hash to look up the details of the transaction elsewhere. We'll actually expand it to be more functional in the future. Let's confirm that this transaction was sent. As you can see at the transaction section, this transaction automatically appears in the list. This function will be expanded on in the future. And we also can see that the SND token balance was updated in the assets section of the app. We are also able to confirm that this transaction was invoked on the Stellar Explorer. So these are the two updates we introduced as a part of the proof of intent demo. We actually have a few more deliverables on the way, both connected to Soroban. The second deliverable will use our obtained Soroban knowledge to further enhance the Soroban capabilities of our interfaces. So what we'll be doing is expanding the Soroban support across wallet for consistent user experience, adding the integration all across the app. This stage will introduce further interactions with wrapped assets, like searching for available tokens using our easy search tool, interacting with Soroban specific transactions, and deploying smart contracts for classic assets that are not there yet. Actually expands what we are building right now as a proof of intent demo. We will allow viewing Soroban transaction details before users can sign and submit those transactions. So we'll actually take a pool of transactions that are well known and allow to preview the details of those in their interface, and also allow viewing some detail for others as well. We'll add support for displaying more Soroban transactions in the transaction history section, so users can actually see what they performed and how they interacted with Soroban layer. And we also introduced the Soroban transaction support to the Wallet Connect section, which we feel is very important to ensure compatibility with Soroban-enabled services built on Stellar. And this will actually allow our users to interact with any Soroban-based service that supports Wallet Connect on the network. And the last deliverable for us is the Stellar X support. This one is for basic support that will allow users to view Soroban tokens on the interface and perform some basic interactions as implemented as a part of our proof of intent demo for Lobster. Yeah, so this is all for my demo right now. please feel free to ask any questions. Happy to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, this was great. I love the designs too, very Soroban-like. Definitely. So thank you so much for presenting. It's really great to see this progress too, and especially with Lobster being such a widely used Stellar wallet. All right, let's take a look at the questions. So T. Ross actually has the first question here. Smart contract assets introduce users to a much larger attack surface. Will there be any differentiation between Soroban versus Classic Stellar assets to a user?
Yeah, we will, as I showcased in the interface, we'll clearly showcase the assets that have Stellar asset contracts deployed, and we also down the line we want to be able to differentiate between the classic assets and those that have this, so to say, standard contract deployed, and the custom assets that users can have attached to any other contract, and we'll clearly separate those on the interface so users are able to differentiate what they're interacting with, so they are aware that this is not something like on the classic, but it's rather on the Soroban side. I'm not sure if that answers the question, but that is something like exploring right now.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, T-Rod, let us know. Morgan asks the next question. So we have one more question, time for one more question. So Morgan asks, this is a big hurdle for lay people. Copying and pasting XDR is going to be impossible to scale. What methods for moving XDR to and from Lobster back to a web app are you considering, besides doing it manually?
Right now, what we are also considering is we have the SEP7 integration in the app, which allows users to click a link in the web app and open the transaction attached to this web app in the Lobster wallet side of the app. So what we have with SEP7 is the ability to verify the source of this transaction, and if the source is not verified, we are able to display a warning, even prevent a user from submitting this transaction. So this may be a viable way to allow users to sign transactions going forward, apart from directly submitting the XDR in the app. So we'll have some way to prevent fraudulent transactions from unknown sources, and we can also allow users to work with sources that they can trust.
Makes sense. Thank you so much for answering that, and it's really excited to give you to see your progress as well. It looks like folks are really a great presentation, Mike. Really excited about it to see more. So there's some more questions here. And encourage you to get back to them in the chat. But for now, thanks again, and yeah.
It's been a great time, and happy to hear and see all of those people united by Soroban, and looking forward to even more updates and the rest of the features.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, next up is Stellar prepaid cards by Anclap. And Ivan, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, amazing. All right.
Awesome.
Take it away.
Okay, well, just a second. Okay, as you may know, we are Anclap. We provide Stellar Anchor services, infrastructure that connects the network with banks, cards, and financial services worldwide through stablecoins. We offer access to crypto, fiat compliant, interoperable, and cross-border blockchain payment network, enabling any platform become a fintech. Today, we want to present the next version of our initial card services. Looking to get your support on scaling up the service and taking it to the next level by opening access to any platform. Okay, our card services, it's an end-to-end prepare service that allow any platform to seamlessly offer its user the option of having a prepared card that can be loaded with our ARS stablecoin or USDC. These cards can be used to make payments worldwide, but are settled in pesos. It could also be used to withdraw cash from ATMs, make online payments, and also link them to Google Play and Apple Play wallets. Let me find the control of of the too many here. Next slide. So let's see how the platform, how the service works today. We made it really simple for demonstration. Basically, you will have an Stellar address where to send USDC or ARS with a specific memo related to your card, and that's it. Your card is funded. So basically, you will have a web page where to see the balance of the card, okay, on any movements you have made, any purchase, if you have withdraw cash from ATMs or whatever you do with the card, you will see all your expenses over there. So basically, we are trying to scale the service, so not only to be accessible through an Anclap web page, but to allow any platform, any wallet to customize its own experience. So so how is the service? Features. We will be providing two kind of cards, plastics and virtual. Today the service could be personalized by the platform. Cards could be nominated or unnominated. The tokenization option is also available. The branding of the card could be also customized. We will not only use Anclap branding on cards, but clients or platform wallets could design their own branding. Also, the packaging of the card, the shipping, the integration, and of course offering all the API processes to allow any platform to access the service interactively, but also non-interactively. I mean, by doing it really quick, by having our platform to access the services, but also to provide all the APIs to connect directly to the entire processes. So, well, I don't want to explain every single aspect, but we are open to continue the conversation about every detailed aspect. But what is great in this new version of our card is that in difference of our first version, where we only had the opportunity to launch a limited project, today we are ready to make it a large scale. I mean, without card limits and without with a lot of new features like allowing users to get cash out from ATMs and that kind of stuff that couldn't be done without our new version. So basically, that's the project we have. We have been doing this for a long time, for last 2 years with our initial project, and we learn a lot from it. We could validate the need of the extended services. We learn a lot from every technical and operational detail to carry out multiple financial on and off ramp services. And we also could have the chance to make the best of the business model details to ensure sustainability.
We're getting a
Of
bit
course.
on time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh no, one of the important thing is that obtaining the necessary licenses to operate these on countries in Latin America was also a great thing we could achieve to now being able to offer this at large scale.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm not sure if we're on the right slide, but yeah, take a look in any case. But yeah, feel free to like also share the slide deck afterwards. It was really a lot of details on there. People might not read like on the slide, but might read through later. Great. So yeah, I mean, lots of good comments here. Like Rick's actually earlier said when you were earlier going to present, I have my Anclap prepaid card on me right now. So super cool to get this started. Matthias has a question. Who is the issuer of the cards at the financial backer?
The cards are prepaid cards. So basically, the issuer it's a business sponsorship model where we have the license, the PSP license here in Argentina that allow us to get a BIN and launch these prepaid cards. So basically, it's Anclap with, of course, local partners that allow us to connect with the systems, but it's Anclap directly with its licenses who is issuing these cards.
Got it. I think we have time for one last question. So maybe with the kind of keeping in mind the actual limitations in countries like Argentina, like how will this prepaid card like work with that?
It's quite simple. The card is settled in pesos, in Argentine pesos, like any Argentine card. And the card has the feature to be loaded with pesos as request, as demand. So basically, when you send us USDC or ARS token, we move the funds directly to your card, to a balance in your card. If you send USDC, of course, you will be getting the DEX exchange rate 2 pesos to ARS. But if you send ARS, you will be directly, your card will be directly found. So basically, you are spending in pesos, but you are using any Stellar token to fund your card.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, no, this is very exciting. You know, really like to seeing like Stellar being used in real life, right? And super excited. So like Morgan says, good job. So people are very excited about this as well. So definitely keep us posted on how things are going, and I would also love to see like how people are using it in real life.
Sure. Thank you very much, and I'm open to be in contact, to get into details if you want.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Well, yeah, bye. Well, speaking of using it in real life, I think like we've seen all, I guess on social media, Decaf, that you've been posting like the integration with MoneyGram, so super excited about that, and we would love to all learn more. So take it away. Do you have the remote?
Yes, I do. I'm just going to have a look at... Oh, yeah, there we go. Wait, hold on. Is that working?
The other side, yeah. Sometimes I don't know why it does that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great. And just so you know, here's my Anclap card. I just got it here. There's a proof. It's real. It's really cool. So yeah, I'm Rick, one of the co-founders of Decaf, and just going to present to you today about what we're building with Decaf Pay. So essentially, as you probably all know, we integrated with MoneyGram, and we have the integration within a mobile wallet and app. And what we realized was that while people were doing what's known as me-to-me transactions, or getting their USDC and cashing it out, in all across the world, we discovered that this was really great for people who were into crypto, but a lot of those people were trying to get cash out for their mum, their sister, their auntie, and it was quite a difficult user experience because a lot of these people maybe didn't have smartphones or didn't really want to download an app, and it was too difficult, perhaps. So we recognized there was a big bottleneck in actual user adoption for remittances using blockchain. So we wanted to replicate a traditional remittance flow to make the user experience more familiar and easier. And so it could be that these people who were sending USDC for cash pickup at MoneyGram could just send their mother or their auntie just a reference code so that these people could just receive it as a text or even via pigeon, it didn't matter. And they could just go pick up their cash from the USDC at the local MoneyGram. And so we recognized that actually it would be better to facilitate these people who are already using our wallet in a quite unusual way to just who are filling out their mum or their mother's details in the MoneyGram flow on their behalf because it was too difficult for their mother to use. So we were realizing and thinking about like how could we actually create like just an easier user experience that makes this flow much more straightforward. And then traditionally within the normal money flowing sending markets, it's quite difficult, cumbersome, and slow, and also expensive. So that's why that we needed to combine the power of blockchain and fast and efficient money sending with the ease and familiar user experience of traditional money sending, where the sender fills in the details on the recipient. So I'll keep going. So Decaf Pay, essentially what we were creating was transactions really quickly with the power of blockchain, no middleman. So you have close to zero fees. In fact, yesterday we just tested getting cash out in El Salvador, and we sent USDC and we got dollars out with zero fee. So I don't know if that's maybe the first time that a cross-border transaction has been completely free, but it's really cool. And this technology has the power to really change cross-border payments. And at the end of the day, it ends up being that your crypto end up just borderless money. And with the MoneyGram integration on Stellar, once again, it's available in over 350,000 locations in 184 countries, which is really awesome. Really awesome. And it gives a whole new potential for just changing the future of money. But we recognize the bottleneck is actually user experience. It's not just about being low fees. It's not just about, that, it doesn't cost anything or it can be sent somewhere really quickly. It's the user experience. How do people feel about this? Do they trust it? Does it feel right? Is it actually easy? So, and we recognize as well the beauty of the MoneyGram integration within non-custodial wallets is that people can hold USDC. So obviously the Anclap team is from Argentina, and when you're in Argentina, you want to hold your US dollar value to the last moment that you need your local currency so that you can spend it. So so we find that the main usage of the MoneyGram integration and also our off-ramp partners is for last minute quick conversions into local currency when they want. So, and this comes from usually places with higher inflation, devaluation risk, and where people just want to have control of what value they actually hold. So we've seen a huge increase. In fact, this actually goes to, there it is, July. We've seen more than 200% growth just this month so far, and it's not even close. It's actually much more than 100%. We saw like 700% 1 month, and now this month it's already at like I think 250%. It's much more than 100. We get but on average, I think from the start it'd probably 100 or more. But anyway, so I just saw the question. So we just wanted to make it a familiar user experience that looks like what it says. We're just sending money abroad. So it looks like Wise, but it's using USDC and blockchain and Stellar. So It allows you to save recipients, so your mother, your sister, auntie, uncle, and this is attached. This is a wallet address, and you can send the money to a wallet address. But this is the key feature. You can either send it directly to their non-custodial wallet, so that means the user can receive USDC and hold that value in US dollars, or directly allow the user to pick up cash with just a code. So the sender would be filling in their details. And we also have integrations to off-ramps and on-ramps with banks. Yeah, true. Yeah, the inflation is not just local currency. That's correct. But at the same time, if you're looking at inflation for the US versus Argentina over 100%, it's a different story, or 400% in Venezuela. Yeah, and then so this allows the people to just fill in the details, and they just need an ID, and they get a reference code, and that reference code can be sent in WhatsApp or any familiar platform, and it doesn't matter. It just allows for, this is Fernanda's mother in our team. She just gets the code, and she just goes picks it up, her cash. So it completely transforms the user experience. Am I able to play this? So as you can see here, this just looks like a Remitly or a Wise, and the familiar user experience really matters. It makes people feel more comfortable. They know what they're doing. It replicates what they're used to, and for user experience, this is really valuable. And this also just makes the flow much easier. So you can send your money, you choose your recipient, and if you fill in the details for the recipient, it saves, and it makes it much quicker. And you constantly know what the rate is going to be depending on the currency that you choose. So you can know what you're doing before you do the transaction. Makes it much more transparent than existing methods of sending money abroad. And then you get a receipt, and then you fund the transaction from any Stellar wallet. And this is, I think, opening it up to a lot more people, and just using blockchain and this MoneyGram integration. So we feel that this is the fastest and best and easiest flow of sending money. So there's your reference code, and you just send that to whoever via their email, via text, via WhatsApp. You just share that with them. They look for their address, and we're picking up the closest location to wherever you put in, or we even pick up the IP address sometimes, and just tell you where's the closest location for you to pick it up. And we even give you instructions on how to do that when you deal with the agents there. So it completely transforms the user experience. And we think that it really sort of uncaps the limit of how many people can access this. Right now, it's people who can understand crypto and download a wallet, but this will really access, anyone can use this, and they don't even need a smartphone. They don't need anything, and this is, I think, 100x more accessible. So this is why we're building Decaf Pay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for presenting. It looks like we're a bit on time, but let's choose one question. Let me see. Maybe like the first one is so definitely folks find it very impressive. So cool that Venezuela is also on the map, says Matthias. And T. Ross says, what do you think will push Decaf and other blockchain payments to the massive? Are lack of regulations holding things back, or yeah?
Yeah, I think the regulations are definitely holding things back. And it's not necessarily the regulations themselves, it's the perception of being compliant with them. So what we're finding is there's a lack of education from the regulators. For example, we find that while we have a non-custodial flow and we're not sending anyone's money, it's a regulator doesn't really understand that. And this is a real barrier for us right now. We're having conversations with MoneyGram and how we're going to talk to the regulators, because while we're not holding anyone's money, or MoneyGram's not holding anyone's crypto, a regulator doesn't know that, and necessarily, unless they really understand what it means to hold the keys to your wallet. So we are actually finding this educational gap quite difficult, because if we just describe it as a pure user flow, which is what we want to do, so people understand what they're doing, the regulator might say, well, who's sending the money? Like, are you sending the money? And even if we're not, it still is a complicated situation, because the messaging might suggest or say something different to what's actually happening, if that makes sense. Because I mean, you're all in crypto, so you know that if you're not custodying someone's fund, you're not actually sending them. And within money transmission or within remittances, it's all about like who's transmitting the money. So this is a big challenge that we're working through right now. So to quite frankly, if we do a job where we completely replicate a traditional remittance flow, it might actually backfire for us for the regulators. So we're going to have to iterate upon the messaging. So we can't say, no, this is not like Wise, this is not like Remitly, this is actually using blockchain. We just sort of communicated the flow as a traditional remittance so that people could feel comfortable and understand what they're doing. So that's I think the biggest challenge right now, and we're probably going to have to iterate a few times on messaging.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no, definitely. It's a really great insights here too, because I know that lots of folks are building in similar spaces and like are trying to see, like, I'm gonna mute quickly, are trying to see what they're trying, kind of like how they can kind of move forward in building and launching projects. And so, yeah, thank you so much for sharing, and we look forward to like learning more. Definitely keep us posted on your journey with this, because I feel like it could be a great insight with, also other wallets and other projects building on Stellar and in the general ecosystem space.
Yeah, really appreciate being able to speak today and meet the community, and open to discussions and chatting and building something really great going forward with the community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. All right. We have 2 more projects that are going to present today, and Amigo is our next project. Amigo, are you? Blake, are you ready?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. There's a bit of a static, but
Okay. Well, I turned off the noise suppression, so probably hear something in the background.
okay. Yeah, I think actually I might have put Oink before you, but on my schedule it says this. So let me go back to this, and then I'll go back to Oink last. Perfect. All right. Do you have everything set up?
I believe so.
Yeah, but your audio is like a little like jittery. I cannot hear you. Yeah. Yeah, Blake, why don't we try to have Oink go first, and then maybe we can go back to you?
Sounds good.
All right, great. All right, Oink team, come join the stage.
Hello.
Hi, Gabriel, how are you doing?
Hi, we're doing fine here. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing well. So thank you
Well,
so much for sticking along with us, and take it away. Let me see, is Fernanda joining us as well?
I think she'll only be as a viewer here, but
okay.
How can I skip the slides right here?
Yeah, I sent you the Google Slides link, but if not, I'm happy to do it for you. If you can't find it, I sent it on DM.
Just sorry for that.
Yeah, just feel free to say next. That also works. Whatever is easier.
Okay. Okay. Here we go then. It will be a little bit tricky. But yeah. Hi everyone. I know that this is Friday and we're getting to the end of the presentations right here, but I promise I'll do my best. My name is Gabriel, and today I'm here to present Oink blockchain. And this is our automated personal finance solution that aims to empower everyday young adults in Latin America. Well, first, before we start, I'm showing right now. You can see me. Hey. But first, before we start, I want to tell a little bit about what this Latin America looks like. I think I did the wrong choice here.
Other one, yeah.
Wait. I promise not. Sorry for that. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. I'll put it
Other,
next
yeah,
to
other button. Some if the one doesn't work, try the other one. I don't know. Sometimes it does that, but I'm happy to like move it forward too. So just say next, and I'll move it.
Well, so next, please. So a little bit about Latin America before we start. Argentina was once one of the wealthiest countries in the world last century, and Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves in the world, and Brazil was among the top 10 economies back in 2006. But as you can see on the next slide, things went downfall from there. Because now the Argentina peso went from 4-to-1 ratio to now, this is a little bit outdated, to 500-to-1 ratio in the USD, in US dollars in a decade. And you can't even exchange over $200 a month. And the inflation rate in Venezuela rate as high as 700 now, right now is 400 as Decaf presented. And in the 90s, the government just confiscated the savings of all Brazilians over around $1,500. So as we can see on the next slide right here, we are a region that suffers from not only low financial literacy and in weak currencies, but strong government intervention. So as you can see on the next slide, I'll have to say this, I got together with my co-founders, Pedro and Fernanda, to help people like us, young adults, that we are over 150 million young adults here, to develop a solution that would be convenient enough in order to make our financial lives better. And as you can see on the next slide, we already have a solution that is called Oink that is working right now in Brazil. It's like a standard solution in which functions like Acorns is an automated PFM that does roundups and saving and investing. But we want to take it to the next level, take it to Latin America by enjoying all the benefits of blockchain and crypto can provide, but for the average young adult. And with that, on the next slide, we can see that what we want to do is offer a solution that people can save automatically, invest passively in a risk-adjusted portfolio, join a community of people like this, are not crypto type of people. These are just regular people that are living their lives, having smart insights that are based on the data we gather from them, and have a tailored experience due to the data-driven approach that we have over all the data we gather to provide them a solution that adjusts to their lives and not otherwise. So on the next slides, I'll show that how does it really looks like. So our solutions have a mobile-first solution that is basically divided into 4 categories right here. We have organize, invest, nurture, and conquer. In the first one, you have organize, that is basically you organize your life, how you're spending, and the saving opportunities that you might have. On the investing part, you see a personal portfolio adjusted to your risk profile, and also you can invest automatically and save automatically as well with roundups or recurring savings. Nurture, we have right here the progress. What was your past looks like, what the future can look like, and the adjustments you make. And you can see the profile, the overall profiling. And in the conquer, we give meaning to that money. You want to save money to do X, you want to save money to do Y. And also some offers, and if you want to have a trip, so here's a trip offer, for example, for retailers. And on the next slide, we can see also that basically our first deliverable was as a mobile first solution to all the KYC process and the registration and login. And we did a pretty much standard approach. We did the OCR KYC approach with a outside provider in order not only to register, but then create a wallet for the user as soon as they sign up. And also the login part, you can skip, but I think we have the overall experience right here. And our project looks like this. The first deliverable was, of course, you need to sign up and authenticate in order to, the credibility and the security are the keys here. And as we could see on the slide on the prototype, we also took the time to do the dashboard designs and some testing. We're the second round of testing. And our audacious dream is to turn every Latam young adult into an investor. And we believe that taking the blockchain benefits and the crypto benefits, like with crypto-backed tokens, in an experience that, like Decaf mentioned, that is the user has some familiarity with, is the way to make it happen. And as on the next slide, we can see that we're working towards that, and we believe that it has a lot of potential.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for presenting, Gabriel. This was great. Definitely like a very nice deck together as well. And I love the progress that you've made so far. And I love the audacious dream. So I think we should all dream audaciously together. Awesome. Are there any questions for folks? And please make sure to ask in the chat. Share some love for Oink. Let me see. Morgan says, great job. We're having some other folks typing away here. It's definitely getting on a Friday afternoon, but we are still all in this together. Ephraim has a question. Does this mean that Oink is an investment advisor? What are the regulations around that in Latam?
Yeah, thank you, Ephraim. That's a really good question. Actually, what we did is that we partnered up with a company called Conduit in order to sort out the regulatory part. They are a registered MSP. And so what we do is basically we took Acorns as a benchmark. And the way that we're displayed, it looks more like an asset manager other than an investment advisor. So best way to walk around regular partner with this platform called Conduit. It's very tricky.
Awesome. Yeah, as we say, like really love the Matthias says, like, really love the optimism. Sure, hope you make it. Financial literacy is definitely needed in the region. See a lot of hurdles. Can you comment on your outreach strategy and user adoption?
Okay, that's really good. I'll say that we only operate here in Brazil today. We have 10K users, and the way that we got to these users was first to use a content-driven strategy with the usage of social media. So we use basically Instagram and TikTok in order to reach like what we call young adults. And by young adults, I mean people from 24 to 34 years old. And also partnering up with some companies. For example, we have today partners over retailers, travel companies, mileage companies, and this is the way to reach them out, reaching people with a very low CAC. So this cost of acquisition, we can outreach and focus more on developing other than paying for acquired users.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And definitely, I think like across like this session, it's been pretty interesting how that theme, like, like we're really building these awesome products. But there's going to be issues, like as we grow, even though blockchain has been like live and growing for like the last few years, there's still a lot of hurdles. But I'm sure that we're growing, and especially the Stellar ecosystem is stronger than ever, I would say. Especially also with Soroban coming along. So I have all like hope and faith that we can make great strides together. Awesome.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Oink. And there might be some more questions in the chat here, so feel free to ask there.
I will do. Thanks.
All right. Blake, can we hear you now? Can you try to speak? Blake, can we hear you? Yeah. So I think we might still have the technical difficulties. So Blake, why don't you, like, I know that you shared this link here. So why don't we encourage everyone to kind of take a look at the Amigo pitch that Blake just shared. I think recorded. Might be some like issues here. So and then we will also add you to the recording. Yeah, I can launch the link. Let me see if I can. Well, I cannot play the audio. That's a problem. Like I have no idea how to do that. So I tried that before. So, but I'll make sure to add it to the recording. So definitely watch it back.
Good day, I'm Blake Cedars, founder and CEO of Amigo. People that are traveling outside of their home country can experience many challenges paying for their expenses during the trip. I personally experienced this as a Canadian during a year across various parts of Brazil and have talked to many other travelers and vendors about it. I found there's a large group of travelers that are staying beyond the normal 1 to 2 weeks, but not as long as becoming an official resident that could use the local financial system. This group has the most issues as they're partially integrated into the local community, but can't fully participate. I realized that with the Stellar stack, let's call it, that a WISE-like application could be created that would solve the point-of-sale payment issues in many situations where they would normally be encumbered. I don't believe that USDC is the only stablecoin solution, and I think that bank on and off ramps through anchors are the most cost-effective solution, but we need more of them. I spent most of my time in Rio de Janeiro, which happens to be the most popular city visited by foreign tourists in South America. They put a lot of focus on catering to tourists as it's such a large part of the economy, but they're losing out on dollars going into that industry because of fees to currency exchanges and credit card networks. Vibrant is a great product, and it's become the baseline that everyone making a cross-border remittance and/or payments product has to build before they build their own unique features. So in a few years, there are going to be several Vibrant-like products fighting over the same customer pools. Decaf's point-of-sale product is awesome and is more in the direction that Amigo is headed. However, and this may just be a consequence of when the team got started, I believe the messaging is outdated and they're not yet taking advantage of the best features of Stellar. I should definitely get to know them. I truly believe that the way forward for crypto is to be the best bridge from TradFi to TradFi when crossing borders or offering new and innovative financial products, especially to underserved communities. The smartphone market penetration will only increase, and blockchain payments can already be integrated with point-of-sale terminals, so why continue to pursue new cash and card solutions? I believe that for fast cross-border payment adoption, it makes sense to have the fee with the vendor in line with what they would pay to accept a local debit card. For remittances, which is not really the focus but available, the fee should go to the sender. I have plans for other financial product offerings that are well beyond the scope of this SCF. Before Amigo, I was an immigration consultant helping hundreds of Brazilians and Latinos on their pathway to Canada, so I know a lot about moving people across borders and are now going to help them with their money too. Last year I did the reverse migration, whereas I did a trial relocation to Brazil and am now in the process of a permanent move. You're about to get a preview of the great work that ScaleMoat has done for Amigo, and with the support of SDF, we're going to have a product in my hands in a couple of months, whereas I've already set up the meetings with Brazilian government officials to do demos and get their guidance to become an endorsed product in their tourism industry. I'm putting a lot of focus on distribution. The demo for the proof of intent was created in a month and shows the base features, a strict receive path payments between a tourist and a vendor from USD to BRL on testnet. A QR code is read for the vendor and payment details with the vendor's location confirmed on a map. Please send me your GitHub username if you want to see the code.
All right, well, thank you so much, everyone. This was amazing. Thank you so much for all the presenters putting in here all the work, and definitely don't leave it at this. So